Ohayou gozaimasu, konnichiwa, konbanwa, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Drafts Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. Commentary and views are our opinions and are not affiliated with the NPB, the Pacific League, Central League, or their sponsors. We're giving English reports on the game being played and hope English-speaking fans around the globe can enjoy the games on YouTube and Twitch along with us. Today, it is going to be the second game of the three-game set between the Saitama Seibu Lions and the Tohoku Rakuten and the Chiba Lotte Marines. This game is going to be played in Chiba, and it'll be the second of the set. Last night, it was a come-from-behind victory by the Marines after spotting the Lions 3 runs in the first inning. They had chipped away. Who's going to be joining us for the call of this one? So first off, we'll begin by giving you the starting lineups. First of all, for the visitors from Saitama, they'll be leading off and playing in center field wearing number 46, Shohei Suzuki. Batting second in right field wearing number 53 is Ito. Hitting third at third base wearing number 33 is Jansen Witt. And the cleanup spot and playing first base is number 3, Hodaka Yamakawa. Batting fifth and playing second base wearing number 5 is Shuta Tonosaki. Batting sixth and doing the designated hitting wearing number 60 is Takiya Nakamura. Hitting seventh in left field wearing number 30 is Brian O'Grady. Batting eighth and doing the catching wearing number 22 is Yuto Koga. And batting ninth and playing shortstop wearing number 52 is Haruka Yamada. And they're going to be facing a right-hander in Ayuma Ishikawa. He takes to the hill tonight with a 5-4 record. He's worked 76 2/3 innings. He's allowed 75 hits, 29 runs, 16 of which have been earned. He's walked 13 and struck out 34, and he's got an ERA of 1.88. That's your lineup for the Saitama Seibu Lions, and now for the home team for the Chiba Lotte Marines. Leading off in left field wearing number 0 is Takashi Ojino. Batting second and playing in center field wearing number 38 is Akito Takabe. Hitting third at second base wearing number 8 is Shogo Nakamura. The cleanup spot and playing first base wearing number 44 is Seiya Inoue. Hitting fifth and doing the designated hitting tonight is number 54, Brandon Laird. Batting sixth in right field wearing number 51 is Koki Yamaguchi. Hitting seventh and playing third base wearing number 67 is Kenta Chitani. Batting eighth and playing shortstop wearing number 4 is Yudai Fujioka. And batting ninth and doing the catching wearing number 2 is Ko Matsukawa. And they are going to be facing a left-hander in Dietrich Enns, who has a 6-4 record this year. He's worked 72 2/3 innings. He's allowed 49 hits, 17 runs, 16 of which have been earned. He has walked 27 and struck out 49. And he's got an earned run average of 1.98. Those are your starting lineups for tonight's ball game. And we're looking forward to bringing this one here to you as Ishikawa is just completing his warm-up tosses. We'll be ready to get this one underway in just a couple moments. It is a hot one in Chiba, as they are saying that temperatures are in and around the 90-degree mark. Right now, it's currently 87 degrees, but it feels like 93 with the humidity. The temperature will taper off through the evening, but nothing will probably get lower than 80 degrees for this one here. There's no real imminent rain in the forecast for the call of this one tonight, and so that is good news for us, and so we're not expecting any showers or anything else. The wind is not quite blowing like it was last night. Tonight, it is blowing more out to right center field, but it is not quite the speed as what it was yesterday. So now here we're ready to get this one underway. We are about to start the top of the first inning. And here comes the first offering from Ishikawa. He goes to the motion and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It is grounded over to second. It is fielded by Nakamura. He throws to first, and with one pitch, we have one out here in the ball game, as it's going to go down as a ground out, 4-3 for out number 1, and that'll bring up the right fielder Ito. For Ido on the season, he's batting .248. He's got 7 homers and 16 runs batted in. He gets the nod again tonight in right field. I said before, when I watched this fella play, he does a pretty good job defensively. And now it looks like he's finally starting to get his bat going, the young 25-year-old. We've got Eric Cheng in the house tonight. And here comes the pitch from Ishikawa. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is now 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Ishikawa does a little stretch right now before he retoes the rubber, and now he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that just misses down, and the count is 1-1. Major League Baseball All-Star Game was last night. The American League continued their streak as they knocked off the National League 3-2. If anybody had got an opportunity to watch a little bit of it or checked it out, you can offer your thoughts. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 1-2 on Ido. Sometimes it looks like a breaking ball, but the movement also sometimes indicate that it was a split finger pitch on that one, and so that was actually what that was. It had a nice 12-6 type of motion on it, did it, for Ishikawa. There's a fastball swung on, and that's fouled away down the right field line. The count remains at 1-2. The American Jansen Witt is waiting his turn on deck. Another sparse crowd on a Wednesday in Chiba. We noticed last night the Tuesday game was sparsely attended, and today we could say the same thing. The weekend crowds usually bring out the numbers. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ishikawa holds at the belt, and now he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into left field. Ranging over to his left is the left fielder Ogino, and he's going to haul that one in for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away. That is going to leave it all up to the third baseman, Jansen Witt. Witt in last night's ball game had the big blow in the first inning as he had a bases clearing. He also added a single to his tally. Had a couple of hits, and he's been vaulted all the way up into the 3 spot in the batting order tonight. He's batting .195 on the season. He's got a couple of homers and 10 RBIs. He hits from the right side against the right-handed throwing Ishikawa, who delivers a first pitch fastball that just misses low for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. Witt is in his first season in the NPB, and he is not off to a cracking start, that's for sure. Hitting below the proverbial Mendoza line of 200. There's the 1-0 offering. There's a fastball swung on. It is grounded foul just past the third base coach's box, and the count goes even at 1-1. We've seen Ishikawa pitch on a number of occasions. He's not particularly overpowering. He does have 34 strikeouts in 76 innings. He's more of a pitch-to-contact type of arm. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. As Ishikawa delivers, it's a breaking ball that just misses outside. They appeal over to the first base umpire, and he goes up with the right hand as he says that Jansen Witt had went. We had a look at the angle that we had from the outfield there. I would say different, but you'd have to have that look down the first base line to be able to get the proper look at that one. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Witt. And here's the offering from Ishikawa. It's a breaking ball swung on and missed. And Witt is gone on strikes for the third out of the inning. So for the Lions in their half of the first inning, there was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through a half an inning. It is the Saitama Seibu Lions, nothing. The Chiba Lotte Marines coming to bat. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with a call. The bottom of the first inning in just a couple moments. Glad you guys could pop in here and join us tonight for this one. We'll be right back after this from our friend, Steve Rademacher.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining Freddie here on his baseball game. And I'm Steve Rademacher, and my channel is really all about everybody, including all my international friends. We have such stuff as non-sport packs from Canada, the OP Cheese. We have the Greek Freak. We have money from around the world. We have lira. We have yen. We have francs. We have pounds. We have Deutschmarks. We have all kinds of cool stuff like that. We even have some cooler things like Japanese women wrestlers, and OPC baseball cards where I cannot read the back. We even have unopened material like the royal family, I know it's backwards, from London, England. Thank you for watching. Back to Freddie.
Appreciate you there, Steve, and your support of the channel. And in turn, we like to support Steve Rademacher. It is going to be Dietrich Enns taken to the hill for the Seibu Seibu Lions. This is my first look at Enns. He's had a pretty solid season so far for the Lions. He's 6-4. He's got 72 2/3 innings under his belt. He's allowed 49 hits, 17 runs, 16 of which have been earned, walking 27 and striking out 49. He's got himself a 1.98 ERA on the season. Defensively for the Marines tonight, or check that for the Lions tonight, in the outfield from left to right, it's Brian O'Grady's in left. The center fielder is Shohei Suzuki. The right fielder is Ito. Around the horn from first to third, it is Yamakawa at first. The second baseman is Shuta Tonosaki. It is Haruka Yamada at short, and Jansen Witt is the third baseman. And the battery is Dietrich Enns and Yudo Koga. Is going to be the defensive alignment for the Lions. And so here comes Takashi Ogino to the plate. He's batting .288 on the season with no homers and 9 RBIs. And the first pitch is a breaking ball. This is up and away, and the count is 1-0. Ogino last night did not get the start of the ball game. And here comes the 1-0 offering. As Enns kicks and delivers, it's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count goes even at 1-1. Enns was a graduate of the Central Michigan University Chippewa program. He spent some time in the minor leagues back in North America. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball that misses outside, and the count is now at 2-1. Including time in the Marlins organization. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Ogino. He bats from the right side against the left-handed throwing Enns. Enns holds at the belt, and now he kicks and delivers. It is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and that runs the count now even at 2-2. Enns has a little bit more juice in his arm than his counterpart Ishikawa, but he also, too, is very much a pitch-to-contact type of pitcher. Doesn't have stuff where he can really blow people away. We got Brian Solera in the house tonight. We welcome you, Brian. Thanks for stopping in. Got back-to-back nights of midweek baseball. I can tell you, we will not be doing this tomorrow night. Here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It is grounded over to short. It is fielded neatly by the shortstop Yamada, but he overthrows the first baseman, Yamakawa. Backing up on the play is the catcher, Koga. So a routine ground ball has gone awry as the errors have shown up tonight again for the Lions. That's going to put Ogino aboard here to begin the ball game. It's going to go down in the books as an E6. Just airmailed it right over the head of the first baseman. Pretty much a routine play, and that's how this one's going to start. Last night it was the first baseman Yamakawa who made a couple errors, who ultimately the 3-run homer by Nakamura late in last night's game for the Marines was partially responsible because Yamakawa's error had brought up that situation for him to come to hit. So here comes the pitch. It is a bunt, and it's a good one, but it just rolls foul. That is going to quickly run the count to 0-1 on Takabi. Brian says, would you say that either of these starting pitchers are in the top 15 of the NPB this year? I don't think so. I'd be shocked to say that. Not in the whole NPB, maybe in the top 15 of the Pacific League. Not in the NPB. Enns has been solid. He's been decent. Same thing with Ishikawa, but neither one are particularly overpowering. And there's a throw over to first base that Ogino has to scamper back to the bag on. So no balls and 1 strike to Takabi. Takabi dropped down tonight into the 2 spot as he was the leadoff hitter last night for the Marines. And here comes the offering from the lefty Enns, and there's a fastball. It's taken down to second. Is the throw as the runner Ogino is off to the races, and he's got to get himself his 7th stolen base of the year. I would expect tonight that this is going to be a track beat. We saw early in the year when the catcher Mori, or the normal starting catcher Mori for the Lions, isn't playing. The teams really abused the battery of the Saitama Seibu Lions. They were off to the races, running like crazy. They're going to want to see if Koga can prove that he can throw people out. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Runner now in scoring position is Ogino, and squaring to punt again is Takabe, and he takes that one down for a ball, and the count now goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike to the Marines center fielder. It's a lefty versus lefty matchup. As Enns leans in and gets the sign from his catcher Koga. And now he comes set at the belt. He checks the runner at second. He checks him again, and now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and that runs the count now even at 2-2. As we look at the numbers out of last night's game, it was a game that knocked the Saitama Seibu Lions out of sole possession of first place. They are now tied with the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. But it is percentage points that are the difference, as the Hawks have played a few less games, and they have the lead atop the Pacific League. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into left center field, and this ball is going to get up the gap almost all the way to the wall. It's cut off by the center fielder, Suzuki. He fires it in, and standing on second base is Takabe. He's going to have himself an RBI double. That'll bring Ogino all the way in to score, and it is 1-0 here for the Marines in the bottom of the first inning. And then we have Ryan Valera, who has come into the stream, and we welcome you in here for that. And we'll give you an idea here as to answer of your question. So I'm not sure where you're at there, Ryan, if you're in the United States or in North America. If you're outside of that area, then it becomes a little bit hard to do. Normally on the weekends, we have some of the other folks that help you out. But if you Google Live QQ, there is a channel that you can be able to pop up some of the stuff. Here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that is down in the dirt, and the count is 1-0. The other part as well to answer that question is that all the games will be broadcast in Japanese. So what a lot of people do is they sync up our stream and enjoy the game that way, and they can see it both. Now, there's all kinds of characters that you're going to see there. You're going to have to look for the script, because there's different type of stuff. And then, of course, you'll have to do a little bit of searching on the page. So here comes the 1-0 offering to Shogo Nakamura. Nakamura is batting .255. He's got 4 homers and 43 runs batted in. There's a fastball that just misses, and the count is now 2-0. Nakamura had the big blow last night of that 3-run homer in the 7th inning that put the Chiba Lotte Marines up ahead for good. So we got Get Toit or something in here, and I just gave the information on how you can be able to do that. We do not stream the games here, and there's a fastball that's taken for a called strike. That will get us shut down. We'll give you the live commentary, and you can listen to it that way, or you can take the information I just provided about 60 seconds ago and be able to go through from there. It used to be DAZN used to carry it in the United States. I understand that they are not carrying it any further. Here's the 2-1 offering, and there's a fastball swung on. It's fouled straight back. Well, if you just go and click the rewind, you'll be able to hear it, but I'll give you the information again. It is Live QQ. If you Google that, it'll take you to the website, and then you'll be able to have to navigate through there. It's all in the different script. You'll see the Chinese characters. I believe it's in Chinese. You'll be able to get down and be able to see it, as they'll feature a number of different games as well. But they'll all be in Japanese, will be the feed. There's a fastball that misses inside, and the count is now 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. And as we said before, once you do that, then people will be able to sync up, and they'll be able to listen to what we're calling the game, and you can watch it as you so can. So here comes the 3-2 pitch. And it is a fastball that is swung on and fouled away, and the count now remains at 3-2 to Nakamura. It'll be Seiya Inoue who waits his turn on deck. He's moved up in the batting order from last night. Big fella does a little flip-flop. There's a few changes in the order tonight. Of course, Brandon Laird is back in, and Koki Yamaguchi is in, as is Kenta Chitani. So a few changes for the Marines. Here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. Its grounded foul just past the first base bag, and count remains at 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nakamura waiting on the delivery. He bats from the right side against the left-hander Ends. Takabe establishes his lead over at second. There's nobody gone here in the first inning, and here's the pitch from Ends. It's a fastball swung on. It is grounded over to short. Yamada fields it this time. He throws over to first. It's going to be a ground out 6-3 for the first out of the inning, and that is going to bring up Seiya Inoue. As that ball was going, it was actually the runner at second base, Takabe, was on the run on the pitch. And so he had intentions of taking third on his mind. So he advances to third, even though the ball was pretty much a routine ground ball to the shortstop. Demon Slayer is in here. We got Demon Slayer here. How you doing? And our friend Get Toit just asked the question. We just gave you that answer. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. A ball and no strikes to Inoue. Inoue on the season is hitting .265. He's got a homer and 3 runs batted in. The lefty Ends holds at the belt. And now he kicks and delivers. It is a fastball swung on, and it's lifted foul over on the first base side. And the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. A couple other options, too. If you ever go to the NPB Reddit page, there was a list of links that they provide over there. I'm not sure if that's up to date these days or not. So here comes the 1-1 offering. As he kicks and delivers, it is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count goes to 1-2. Our friend Demon Slayer says he's doing pretty good. He's watching the Buffaloes play-by-play. Buffaloes, I think, if I remember correctly, they won last night. It was 5-1. I didn't keep too close to tabs. The live scorecard that we would follow was down for most of the night, although it looked like it picked it back up today when I had to go for the English box scores. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It's a fastball that moves Inoue off the plate, and the count goes to 1-2. Or sorry, 2-2 now to Inoue. Inoue, in last night's ball game, he had reached base once on a walk, a couple of fly balls, and a ground out. Here he waits on the offering here from Ends, who kicks and delivers. It is a fastball that misses down, and the count now goes to 3-2 on Inoue. And really, this is going to be the 24th pitch of the inning, and it all stems from the error by the shortstop Yamada to start the ball game on a routine ground ball. It would probably be 10 less pitches, I'm going to hazard a guess, for Ends in this inning had that play been made once this inning is complete. But that's the way it set the tone here in the first. You think about yesterday, the first inning that the Chiba Lotte Marine pitcher had, and there's a fastball swung on and missed. They throw down to third, and getting back in time is the runner Takabe, who was dangerously far off of the base. But Inoue has gone on strikes for out number 2, and that's going to leave it up to the designated hitter, Brandon Laird. You think about Okajima last night, the starter for the Marines. He allowed 3 runs in the first inning after that bases clearing double by Jansen Witt. And then he really settled down and pitched 5 pretty decent innings, I would say. Nothing particularly overpowering, but he was able to keep the Lions hitters off balance. So Brandon Laird steps to the plate. He's batting .205. He's got 12 homers and 42 runs batted in. He takes a first pitch fastball inside for ball one, and the count is 1-0. There's a full slate of games around the NPB tonight. Last night it was the Hawks and the Golden Eagles had the night off. It looks like the Golden Eagles have jumped them for 4 runs in the top of the first inning, and they still got something brewing. And here comes the pitch from Enns. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into shallow left center field. Racing in on it is the center fielder Suzuki. He's going to make the catch. And that is going to do it here for the Marines in their half of the first inning. So for the Chiba Lotte Marines, there was 1 run, there was 1 hit. There was 1 error, and there was 1 runner left aboard, all ones. Their score at the end of 1 inning, it is the Chiba Lotte Marines 1, the Saitama Seibu Lions nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the top of the second inning when we return. We appreciate you guys for being here. Hang tight. We'll be right back.
Well, you got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just 1 roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
That's right, everybody. After the game, be sure to check out our friend Matt Hollis and another Hollis build. We'll be back in 30 seconds with the call. At the top of the second inning, we're glad you guys could be with us tonight on a late night in North America. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the heart of the batting order coming up for the Lions. It's going to be Hataka Yamakawa, Shuta Tonosaki, and Takia Nakamura, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Lions to face the right-hander Yuma Ishikawa. We didn't give you the defensive alignment for the Marines. We'll do that right now before this inning gets going. The round in the outfield from left to right. So Gino in left, Takabi is in center, and the right fielder is Yamaguchi. Around the horn from first to third, it is Inoue at first, Nakamura at second. The shortstop is Fujioka, and the third baseman is Chitani. And the battery is Matsukawa, and of course, Dietrich Enns. So Yamakawa steps to the plate. He is the Pacific League home run leader. He did not have a hit last night in the ball game as he's waiting on the first offering for Ishikawa. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. He's hitting .271 on the season. He's got 27 homers and 56 runs batted in. Our friend Ryan says, you must be a Terry Smith fan. I don't know who Terry Smith is. So no balls and 1 strike. Yamakawa resets himself in the batter's box. Ishikawa picks up the rosin bag and got some more rosin to his hand. And here's the pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on. This ball is belted to deep left center field. Racing back and looking up, and this ball is gone. It is a massive home run by the first baseman, Yamakawa. That is going to be his 28th of the season. And just like that, on 1 pitch, we are all knotted up at ones. That ball was not a wall scraper. In fact, we might have hit the back wall of the outfield there, and we are all now tied up at 1 apiece. Friend Ryan says the voice of the Angels, and I've only had one person say something brewing. I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever listened to an Angels broadcast before. So we're all tied up at ones, and that's going to bring up the second baseman, Shuta Tonosaki. For Tonosaki, he's batting .222 on the season. It's 5 homers and 27 runs batted in. And the right-hander kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count is 1-0. We've got John Cardona in the house. So that means we can officially get things going now. You just missed the home run by Yamakawa there, John, and we thank you for stopping in. So 1 ball and no strikes to Tonosaki. We were talking about players that when we call some of these games, guys who stand out for the right reasons and sometimes guys who don't stand out for the right reasons. There's a fastball swung on. This is pop foul over on the third base side. Coming over underneath it, who's going to have room. It's playable, and it is going to be cut by Chitani right in front of the third base dugout. And he is going to retire Tonosaki for the first out of the inning, and that's going to bring up the designated hitter, Takeya Nakamura. Our friend Brian Solera says, why is Yamakawa not in talks with MLB teams? I think he'd be a great first baseman. I can see him in Texas or Seattle. In some ways, he really reminds me of the first baseman. That was a Ji-Man Choi for the Tampa Bay Rays, the Korean first baseman. And here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses down. And the count is now 1-0. Our friend Get Toit 365 has asked the question numerous times, and it's already been answered previously in the stream. And so I can't do much else for you except for push the keys on your computer. So we've given you the information. That's all I can do to help you out. 2 balls and no strikes to Takeya Nakamura. And here comes the offering. It is a fastball that misses down, and the count is now 3-0. So 3 balls and no strikes. I know that there may be some others that in the chat will be able to give you some further guidance, but we are looking through this here again. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. It is a fastball that's taken right down the middle for a called strike, and it's now 3-1 to Nakamura. Yep, we'll give it to you one more time. If you Google Live QQ, you go to that site, then you're going to have to navigate through it a little bit. That'll be able to get you to where you want to go eventually. It's going to take a little bit of ingenuity on that site. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into shallow left center field. Coming over underneath it is the center fielder, Takabe. He's going to make the catch. And Nakamura is going to be retired for the second out of the inning. That's going to leave it all up to the left fielder, Brian O'Grady. So O'Grady steps to the plate. He's hitting .230. He's got 12 homers and 37 runs batted in. O'Grady with 2 gone here in the inning is waiting on the offering from Ishikawa. And here comes the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into center field. Coming hard on it is Takabe, and he's going to make the catch on the run. And that is going to do it here for the Lions in their half of the second inning. So for the Lions, they got 1 run. There was 1 hit. It was the home run by Yamakawa. There were no errors and nobody left board. We're through 1.5. It is the Seibu Seibu Lions 1, the Chiba Lotte Marines 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call of the second inning after this. Hang tight. Appreciate you all for being here.
Hello, kids. Steve coming at you. It's Steve Rademacher, and if you like interesting stuff, if you like to laugh a little bit, and if you enjoy collecting, this channel's for you. If you like non-sport cards, we have them. You like pseudo-sport cards, we open them. Even if you like entire boxes of completely pointless stuff or other sports, we have everything here. I drop a different video every day. And there's always a theme to it, from No Filter Friday to Saturday morning cartoons, even Sunday shoutouts. Once in a while, we'll get a little froggy and show Money Money Monday, where I showcase a bunch of my currency. We have Legos, we have Star Wars, we have a good time. We even have my brother on Takeover Tuesday. Be there or be square. Back to Freddy.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the second inning. It is going to be Ikoki Yamaguchi, Kenta Chitani, and Yudai Fujioka. That means it's going to be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the batting order. For Yamaguchi, he's hitting .246 on the season. We've got 7 homers and 27 runs batted in. And works from the stretch with nobody on, and he delivers the first pitch. It's a breaking ball outside, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Ends, as we said in the first inning, delivered 26 pitches and probably 10 more than what he should have. On the opening error, it was an unearned run that cashed in for the Marines. There was a breaking ball that missed it upstairs, and the count is now 2-0. And here comes the 2-0 pitch. And there is a fastball that is taken for a called strike, and the count is now 2-1. As I keep up with our chat here a little bit, and I am going to repeat again one more time, and that is going to be it for the night. So we appreciate everybody who does come in. We want you guys to enjoy the game, and you'll start to get a feel for what's happening here. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike. Count is 2-2. But if you want to be able to get the information, all you got to do is hit the rewind dial, as per mentioned, as we had given it about 3 or 4 times. And then from there, you're going to have to use some ingenuity to be able to access where the stream would be. And as I said, I can't go through the computer to help you out on that one. So here comes the 2-2 offering. And there's a fastball swung on it, missed. And Enns is going to register his second strikeout of the night for out number 1, and that's going to bring up the third baseman, Kenta Chitani. Brian Solera says, who would you say is a better pitcher all around, Tajima or Yamamoto? Both for Oryx. That's a good question. I would say on the pure basis of his fastball, Yamamoto has the edge, but I don't know if he's a better per se pitcher. He can get away with making mistakes because he can run the fastball up into the mid-upper 90s. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Chitani. So Chitani's batting .208 on the season. He gets the start at third base tonight. He's got a 0-0-1 across the slash line, and there is a fastball that misses outside. The count is 1-1. I'm having a hard time tonight with the home plate umpire to try to get into his rhythm. He's made some calls on some pitches that looked like they were balls that were strikes, and some strikes that looked like they were balls. So I don't know if he's quite locked in on the zone yet either, as both the batteries have really hung on to some of the pitches. As there's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count now is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brian says that the Yamamoto reminds him of Darvish. Well, Brian Solera, well, in some ways, I think that Yamamoto is a diminutive right-hander. He's not the size of Darvish. There's a breaking ball that swung on, and that's fouled away over on the first base side, and the count remains at 1-2. Darvish is a big fella, and in some ways, Yamamoto, when I look at him, he reminds me of a sort of like a Pedro Martinez, a small righty. Very impressive. Although I have to say, when we saw the game on on the Saturday game when he pitched against Masahiro Tanaka, he didn't have the velocity that we've seen at other parts of the season. Here comes the 1-2 pitch, and it is a fastball swung on. It's grounded softly to third. Witt fields it across the diamond, and Chitani is going to be retired on a ground out 5-3 for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to leave it all up to Yudai Fujioka. So normally speaking, we see mid-upper 90s out of Yamamoto, but he was in the low to mid-90s. There was a significant drop-off of his normal velocity. I don't know if that's because we're at the midway point of the season and it's starting to wear on a little bit, but he's been quite electric. Now, on the flip side to your question, you asked, do you think Tajima is a better pitcher? He might actually be a better pitcher because he doesn't have the natural stuff like Yamamoto does to fall back on. If you leave a 98-mile-an-hour fastball over the plate, that's a swing and miss pitch. If you leave a 92-mile-an-hour fastball over the plate, it might be 30 rows in the seats. That'd be a little bit better on your by hitting your spots. There's a first pitch fastball to Fujioka taken for a called strike. The count's 0-1. Fujioka's batting only 155 on the season, and he swings at the fastball and fouls that one off, and the count is now 0-2. He did reach base a couple times last night. He had a double, and he reached on an error in the ball game. So maybe Fujioka is starting to get his game on track. Brian says he saw him reach 96.7 early in the season. Yeah, absolutely. I remember last year when he was running it up at 98, 99 miles an hour. There's a fastball taken upstairs, and the count is now 1-2 to Fujioka. Demon Slayer says he's following the Oryx game tonight. There's a really bunched up standings in both of the divisions, in both of the leagues. The top 5 teams in the Pacific League are all separated by, I believe it's 4.5 games entering tonight's play. I took a look at it. It's 4.5 games between Oryx, who's in 5th, and then, of course, the Lions and the Hawks are tied for first place right now. Here's the 1-2. It's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded to third, and it gets through Jansen Witt. And that is going to be a error on Witt. It's the second error of the ball game for the Lions as Fujioka is aboard. He probably would have made that play. He tried to circle the ball. It was a grounder to third. It stayed close to the line. Witt had to range to his right, and he was like he was circling the baseball. Now, I just don't know if it had some English on it, but actually it hit the dirt and it stayed down. That's something that, for those of you who've not been on turf or where they have the dirt cutouts, it does play differently. And so there's dirt cutouts around the bag at first, second, and third. And when you have a ground ball and it hits the dirt cutout, the ball will typically want to stay down. And for some fielders who are, especially if you play in the middle infield, changes the hop off of the turf to the dirt. There's a fastball that misses inside, and the count is 1-0. I remember a number of years ago, I was in the Western Major League, and there was a ground ball that we would be hitting to our players at third base, and it had the same effect. If it came off the turf, you could get pretty much a true hop. If you're able to get it to the dirt and the ball was able to stay down, it would shoot right through the fielder if they didn't know. And certainly the visiting teams that came in, they weren't used to playing on that particular surface. It could really eat them up. So 1 ball and no strikes to Matsukawa. And here's the pitch for Menz. It's a fastball swung on it. It is grounded up the middle. Beautiful diving play to his right by Tonosaki. He throws to first. And that is going to do it. A gold glove play from Tonosaki, diving to his right to save a hit from going up the middle and then getting up and throwing out the catcher Matsukawa on a ground out 4-3. That is going to end the inning. There was no runs, no hits. There was an error. And there was 1 runner left aboard. We're now through 2 complete innings. It is the Saitama Seibu Lions 1, the Chiba Lotte Marines 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the top of the third in just a couple moments. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back after this.
Domo arigato. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I'm new at this. Thank you for watching Last Raps Baseball. Tell all your friends and family to come check him out, ask some questions during the telecast, and give him a good sub and a thumbs up. And this is Steve coming back at you, and some new things on my channel. Star Wars figures that everybody likes. We have Mad magazines from the 1970s. We try to avoid the Noid. And for your pleasure, once in a while, we can open up Michael Jackson if you want, the cards. We have Elvis. We have Sadahar O. We love everything that is everything, so we even have the Beatles fighting with lightsabers. Look at that, John and George. Once in a while, we'll even have my brother take over my channel on a Tuesday. So once again, everybody tell your friends, come see Freddie at Last Raps Baseball. And right now, I'm going to kick it right back to you, Freddie.
Appreciate you there, Steve, and your support of the channel. And in turn, we like to support Steve Rademacher. After the game, go check him out, whether it's Money Monday, Takeover Tuesday, or his Saturday morning cartoons. He's got always something for everybody at Steve Rademacher and his channel. It is going to be the 8 and 1 hitters coming to bat here in the third inning. It'll be Yuto Koga, Haruka Yamada, and Shohei Suzuki, as they are now starting to see the sun go down and the lights are starting to moderately take effect here in Chiba. Our friend Ryan asks, he says, do you know where we can buy NPB merch in the United States? It's a great question. It's really hard to get stuff there as well. When I was in Japan, you could get to the team stores, obviously right on the site of where the stadiums are. And here comes the first offering to right-handed hitting Koga. It's a fastball that misses upstairs for 1-0. Koga's batting 182. He's got no homers and 3 RBIs. But even just in general, when you're going into shopping centers or different places, it's not the easiest to get NPB merch. And there's a fastball that swung on it is lifted foul over on the third base side. It's going to reach the seats. The count goes even at 1-1. And so I really don't have anything that I can recommend to you stateside. Anything I've purchased that was over in Japan. And as I say, you're almost best to maybe even go to the individual team websites if there's somebody that you like and be able to do it from there. And I know it's not the best option because sometimes that's the more expensive route. But even just trying to find stuff in and around Tokyo, as there's a breaking ball that misses inside and the count is now 2-1. They can say that they're in some ways really super guarded on their stuff. It kind of reminds me of soccer some ways, where for years in Europe, each team had was involved with their own merchandise. They didn't have like league-wide agreements or global agreements. And there's a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count's now 3-1 to Koga. We won't keep you updated from scores around the league, but it was a 6-run uprising in the first inning for the Golden Eagles. And they're batting in the top of the second, and it looks like they're looking to add to that 6-0 lead over Fukuoka. There's a pitch. It's a fastball that misses upstairs, and Koga is going to get himself a leadoff walk here in the third inning, as he's got himself a base on balls, and that's going to bring up the shortstop Haruka Yamada. For Yamada on the season, he's hitting .203. He's got no homers and 9 RBIs. Based on what we witnessed last night, I would think that he is going to be in a sacrifice bunt situation here. I don't know that for a fact, but that probably is what's on the docket. Last night, Yamada was 0 for 3. He was also hit by a pitch in the game. There's no sign of him wanting to square, but now it is, and he squares to bunt, but the throw goes over to first base. Diving back safely is the base runner Koga. Yamada, again, with the early square. We talked about this the other night. I'm not a big fan of the way that he waggles the body. He's able to get this one down, and it is fielded by the pitcher, Ishikawa, who throws to first. That's going to be a sacrifice. That's going to go down as 2-4, as Koga has advanced to second base. That's going to bring up the top of the order in Shohei Suzuki. Check that. It would be 1-4 on the putout. It was the pitcher. So Suzuki steps to the plate. He's 0 for 1 tonight. He's grounded to the second baseman his first time up. Our friend Get Toit says that didn't know Saitama sponsored an NPB team. That would be... I don't think Saitama is where they're from, if I'm not mistaken. Seibu is the sponsor of the team. So 1 strike it is to the leadoff hitter, Suzuki. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It is grounded up the middle. It's going to be a base hit into center field past the diving second baseman. Rounding third and heading home and scoring is going to be Koga. The throw goes over top of the catcher, and that gets all the way to the backstop. And so that is going to be a single and an RBI for Suzuki. He's going to drive in Koga. And that is going to be the run. And we're just watching the throw to the plate there. As the throw came in, it was not very good. Completely missed the cutoff man. And into second goes Suzuki as they've traded places. And that is an RBI single advancing to second on the throw. I don't think they're going to rule an error on that one because he was already there. If he probably would advance to third, they might have given him the error on the throw as well. So that is going to bring up the right fielder, Ito. Our friend Demon Slayer says the pitcher the Buffaloes brought up has got some real talent. 5 Ks through 3 innings. I have to go and take a look and see who Oryx is running out there. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into left field. Backing up on it is the left fielder, Ogino. He's camping out underneath it. He makes the catch. And that is going to retire Ito for the second out of the inning. So there's now 2 gone, and that is going to leave it all up to the third baseman, Jansen Witt. For Witt tonight, he is 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up. Our friend Demon Slayer says 6 Ks now. Ryan says eBay has some merch, but never in my size. Well, Ryan, welcome to the club, because that is something that I found when I was over in Japan. I typically am an extra large, depending on the size, maybe a double XL in clothing here. If it's a sort of a tighter fitting type deal. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. And getting merchandise in my size is very, very difficult. That includes on so many fronts. Went into the Mizuno flagship store in Tokyo, went into the Mizuno store in Osaka, and trying to get yourself a size 12 North American shoe is pretty much impossible. So Jansen Witt has asked for time, as it looks like there's a bug flying around by him. He's waving at it with his bat. Now it looks like he's set, so he digs in. There's no balls and 1 strike to Witt. The right-hander Ishikawa holds set at the belt. He checks the runner at second and delivers. It's a fastball that misses outside, and the count now goes to 1-1. So there's 2 gone here in the top of the third inning. The runner at second is Suzuki. There's already 1 run on the board here for the Lions as they bat with 2 out. Witt waggles the bat. And the catcher, Matsukawa, gives his sign to the pitcher, and here he delivers. It's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded over to third. It is fielded neatly by the third baseman, Chitani. He throws to first. That's going to retire Witt on a ground out 5-3 for out number 3. But they get another run here in the inning, do the Lions. They had 1 run in the inning. There was 1 hit. There were no errors, and there was 1 runner left aboard. We are now moving to the bottom of the third inning. And so that is the Seibu Seibu Lions 2, the Chiba Lotte Marines 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back in just a moment with our call just after this from our friend Dave. Be sure to check him out after the game and let him know Last Raps Baseball sent you.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out the game and Last Raps Baseball. This is Dave, Zero Thought Sports Cards. If you like pack openings, baseball, all that good stuff, check us out. Drop a comment on our channel this month to win a mystery pack of cards. All you gotta do is say Last Rap sent you to be entered, and we'll drop a video later on this month announcing the winner. Enjoy the game.
Appreciate you there, Dave, and your support of our channel. And in turn, we support Dave over at Zero Fox Sports. Make sure you go to the Game Changer Lounge and anywhere there and just let them know Last Raps Baseball sent you. We'll be back in 30 seconds with the call. We appreciate you guys for checking in tonight. It is baseball from Japan, and that's what we love. Hang tight, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the bottom of the third inning. It'll be the top of the batting order coming up for Chiba. That means it's Takashi Ojino, Akito Takabe, and Shogo Nakamura to get things going against the lefty Dietrich Enns. Enns tonight has seen some shoddy defense behind him in the first couple innings. 2 errors in the first 2 innings, but the last inning it did not do any damage to him. The first run in the first inning was a benefit of an error by the shortstop. As we said, it probably added a few more pitches to where he needed to be. 43 for the first 2 innings for the lefty, and he delivers a first pitch breaking ball over for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Ojino. Ojino was the beneficiary of that error as he reached on the error by the shortstop and stole second. And later came around on the double by Takabe to open the scoring for the Marines as he swings at a fastball and fouls that off, and the count is now 0-2. Friend Ryan says he's the XL and a size 12 as well. Yeah, it's not an easy size in Japan. In a lot of ways, we just are outside of the category for their maximum size and height. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-2. That's the unfortunate part. So when you're wanting to go look at merch and you ask for I generally just say, what's your biggest size? There's a fastball swung on. This ball is going to be looped into shallow left field. And Ojino is going to be able to reach base on a single. He caught that one down a little bit on the handle of the bat. He was able to get around on it and lift that into left field for a hit. And he is aboard with a leadoff single. It's going to have to keep our eye on the runner Ojino here because they do like to run, and I think that they're going to try to run on the catcher as well. Anytime Tomoya Mori is not behind the plate, the Lions are a team that is susceptible to be run on, and even with the lefty Enns on the hill, they ran in the first inning, and they may be looking to do more here. So here comes the pitch. It is a fastball. It's bunted down the third baseline. It is fielded by Witt. It is up the line. They tag the runner going. They throw to third. There's nobody covering third. Then the runner has come all the way around to score. Some brutal bunt defense. And yet another error here by the Lions, and that's going to score yet another run. It's going to even the score at 2. So it's going to go down as a sacrifice bunt for Takabe. I think they may want to take a look at this, as I think Yamakawa may come off the base early. We're going to wait and see what they have to decide here. So they lay the bunt down. It's beautiful. It's down the third base line. Witt fields it. It's a little bit up the line. But they hold the ball there that he's made the tag. Then Yamakawa goes across the infield. The catcher covering third is not there in time. It goes wild, and now the run scores. And so Yamakawa is again going to be charged with an error. That's his third in 2 nights. But they are going to rule that as an out. And the Marines have now tied the ball game at 2. And here comes the first offering now to Shogo Nakamura. It's a breaking ball that misses up for a ball, and the count is 1-0. So some calamity here, and 3 errors in 3 innings for the Lions tonight. And here's the pitch to Nakamura. It's a fastball swung on and tap foul at the plate. The count is 1-1. That is the glaring number right here. 3 errors so far in the first 3 innings have accounted for both runs, and neither of those runs are now earned, of course. There's a fastball swung on. This is lifted foul behind home plate. It's going to reach the seats, and the count is 1-2 to Nakamura. Shogo Nakamura 0 for 1 tonight as he grounded to the shortstop his first time up. Demon Slayer says over hits easy in this game. Yeah, with the defense that's shown up. And our friend Eric Cheng says Little League fielding today. As there's a fastball swung on it, is popped over to first base. And making the catch is Yamakawa, but on the exchange, he did a little juggling act with it. No damage there as Nakamura has gone on a pop-up to the first for out number 2. So 2 gone, and that's going to bring up the first baseman, Seiya Inoue. Inoue tonight is 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up. Inoue bets from the right side against the left-handed throwing ends. And Ends now holds at the belt, and he kicks and he delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. Sometimes you see the defensive plays that are made. Generally speaking, the Japanese league, there's pretty decent fundamental skills within the Japanese defenders. And there's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 2-0. So in some ways, a little bit uncharacteristic, some of the shenanigans we've seen in the first 3 innings here. A blown bunt coverage leading to the 3rd error of the ball game. And really what it was the catcher who was too slow. That was his responsibility to get down to cover third base with the runner on first. And there was a fastball taken for a called strike. For those of you who maybe aren't always sure on the bunt coverage, with the runner at first base, the bunt was dropped down the third baseline. The third baseman, Witt, had fielded it. Because he was coming forward to field it, the catcher's responsibility is to get to third. But he was too slow to get there was the catcher Koga, and that allowed the runner to go pretty much all the way from first to third. And that drew the poor throw from Yamakawa. There's a ground ball that is hit to the second baseman. It's fielded. They flip to first, and Inoue is retired. It's a ground out 4-3 to end the inning, as that will do it here. But there was all kinds of action as we had a run on 1 hit. There was 1 error, and there was nobody left aboard. We are now through 3 complete. It is a tie ball game at 2-2. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments after this with the call at the top of the 4th inning. Appreciate you all for being here. Here is our friend Steve again. That's Steve Rademacher, in case you were wondering.
Hello, guys. Steve Rademacher coming at you. I'm having my 500 subscriber giveaway if we get there by the end of this year. That's my name and my channel, Steve Rademacher. All you have to do is be publicly subscribed, and then you can enter to win once we hit the magic number. Either an unopened, still sealed box of Star Trek official trading cards, Next Generation and Original Series. If that's not your cup of tea, we have Fleer Adrenaline with a Deerdick rookie card. I have pulled out an autograph from one of these, and there are relics. If that's not your thing, how about an unopened box of 1987 Donruss Baseball? Just come watch me, subscribe, and enjoy the show. Thank you.
Appreciate you there, Steve, and your support of the channel. And in turn, we like to support Steve Rademacher. It is going to be the heart of the Lions batting order coming up here in the top of the 4th inning. It'll be Hataka Yamakawa, Shuta Tonosaki, and Takia Nakamura. Friend Demon Slayer said he says, didn't the Swallows have 25 players out on COVID? I think the number was around more like 19, but it was a combination of players and staff. Our friend Eric jumped in and said that they had a bunch of guys out, but most of the important starters are back. It's also true. That was about maybe a week or 10 days ago that some of that went down. Here comes the first pitch of the inning to Yamakawa. It's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count's 1-0. Yamakawa is 1 for 1 tonight. He homered his first time up. It was his 28th of the campaign. He is clearly the league leader in the Pacific League. He's number 2 in the NPB behind Murakami of the Swallows, as there's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-1. Eric also adds that their bullpen is stretched a bit as they are down still a couple of key members. Our friend Demon Slayer asks if any of you guys follow Tokyo Brandon, and the answer to that is nope, don't at my end. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. We got Mick 3Y official in the house here. There's a fastball swung on, and that's fouled away, and the count goes to 1-2. Mick was in here last night, and he asked a question about I think it was the Bob Marley cards that Steve was posting up on his channel. I was telling him about that today, that you were getting a good chuckle and laugh about it. I said, I don't know if Mick would be interested in something like that. If he is, I asked Steve, I said, do you got much? There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called third strike, and Yamakawa is gone looking for out number 1 here in the 4th inning. It's going to bring up Shuta Tonosaki. For Tonosaki today, he is 0 for 1. He popped to the third baseman his first time up. Anyways, I talked to Steve about that. I said, hey, is there anything? Do you have any of that stuff? And he says he's got a little bit. But he said if you were interested, he could work something out with you if you have a interest in adding some Bob Marley stuff to your wall or your binder or whatever it is that you want. There's a first pitch breaking ball that misses down and away. The count is 1-0. I'm sure those things will go up in smoke before you know it. So 1 ball and no strikes to Tonosaki. He entered the game tonight hitting .222 on the season. There's the breaking ball that just misses low, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Demon Slayer says that TB is the best Asian handicapper out there. There's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed, and now the count goes to 2-1. He says about 75% on his picks for years. That's pretty good, actually. When you're anything north of really 68% in my world, I figure that you're doing pretty good on your picks. That's why I always shy away from the spreads in the National Football League and stuff like that. Don't do much betting on baseball. There's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count now runs to 3-1. I would say probably over the course of a season, I might only make a couple of bets on baseball. Football in particular, I find it very hard even just to go straight up. Forget the spreads. You got 16 games in a week. If you can hit on 10 of them, you're maybe 11 or 12. You have a decent week. If you can do better than that, you had a great week. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed, and now the count is 3-2. I remember I did a football pool one year. This is going back about 20 or 30 years ago. It was one of those office pool type things, and the person who won the pool, this is on straight up, not on spreads, for the entire season ran at about 70%. There's a fastball swung on it, is grounded over to third. Diving to his left is Fujioka. He makes the play. He throws to first. And Tonosaki is gone on a ground out 5-3 for out number 2. It's going to leave it all up to the designated hitter, Takiya Nakamura. So if you can be in the 70% range on straight up picks in the NFL for an amateur, and you're doing all right. If you're a bookie, I would expect you probably to be a little bit better than that. Just some programming notes coming up. We'll go back to North America, and we'll do a doubleheader on Thursday. We'll have to sort ourselves out on that as far as which one it'll be. There's a first pitch fastball that misses up on Nakamura, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Get Twat says I hit on the Soto home run derby winner. That would be a good call on that one. There's a fastball that misses, and the count is 2-0. I took Pete Alonso on that one. And I took Alonso only because that was an opportunity for a three-peat. I remember when he won the first Derby, the payout that he got for winning the Derby was more money for winning the Derby than he did get paid for the entire season. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is now 3-0 to Nakamura. And of course, he went back-to-back last year, and I figured, why not? Man needs to be paid. He's a little bit more motivated than most, probably, to put the ball in the seats, but the polar bear did not win out. It would have been kind of neat, because I think Ken Griffey Jr. was a 3-time winner of the event. There's a fastball taken for a strike, and the count is 3-1. Our friend John Cardona says, yes, we'll get to that in a second. There's a fastball swung on, and it's grounded to third. A nice play by the third baseman, Fujioka, who throws to first. Check that. That's Chichani, who throws to first. And that is going to be a ground out 5-3 for the third out of the inning. And that will do it here as the Lions go in order. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. Now moving to the bottom of the fourth. It is all knotted up at 2s. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back in just a moment after this. Hang tight, and we'll get back to our friend John Cardona and his thoughts. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the bottom of the fourth inning. It'll be Brandon Laird, Koki Yamaguchi, and Kenta Chitandi to come to bat. Just talking about a little bit here. It is, John Cardona says, at negative 110 odds, over 55% is hard in the NFL. It's the hardest sport to bet on. Anyone tells you they hit on 60% every year in the NFL is lying, assuming it's been more than 3 or 4 years. Yeah, I totally agree with you there, John. Anything you bet on the spreads is a very, very difficult piece in the NFL. As I said, just taking the straight ups. Guys who go straight up, you can do better, obviously, on that. But as I said, when I ran the pool, I think there was about 56 people in the pool just on straight up picks. And one guy, the guy who won it, was at 70%, and everybody else was down from there. And so, to your point, if you actually probably ran it over a 4-year window to see how that guy would do, or that player would do, then, or the person making the picks, it starts to average out over the time. Because certainly somebody could win it 1 year at 70% or in the upper 60s and then go in the tank the next 2-3 years. And by the time you average it out over time, they're probably in the mid 60s or maybe even lower than that. So here comes the first pitch to Laird. It's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Our friend Eric Chang also echoes that as well, says 100% accurate. Demon Slayers says, hates betting the spreads in the game. The refs are involved in it. There's a fastball that swung on and grounded foul, and the count is 0-2. I don't know necessarily about that part, but it does make you wonder sometimes on how things are influenced. Certainly, whether it be the home games or not. Demon Slayer, he'd go on a rant for the football one. We'll save that for football season, as there's a fastball swung on and missed by Brandon Laird. He is gone on strikes for out number 1. As the third strikeout of the ball game for Enns, as he crawled the ladder and was able to just blow it right by Laird. It's going to bring up the right fielder, Koki Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi is 0 for 1 today. He struck out his first time up. Our friend Get Twite says, you can't bet in the NFL comparing the year before like you can baseball and basketball. And there's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. And so here comes the 1-0 pitch. As he kicks and delivers, it's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count now is 1-1. Yeah, certainly there's certain teams in the NFL or certain, I don't want to say, not just teams, but certain picks that you'd like to say are almost weekly locks. But even the worst teams in the NFL generally can find a way to win at least one game. Unless, of course, you're the Detroit Lions or maybe the Cleveland Browns who've done that in recent years. There's a fastball that misses inside. And the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. It'll be Kenta Chitani who waits his turn on deck. So here comes the 2-1 offering to Yamaguchi. It's a fastball swung on. It is grounded softly to second. Fielded by Tonosaki, throws to first, and it's a ground out 4-3 for out number 2. And that's going to leave it all up to Kenta Chitani. For Chitani, he is 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded out to third his first time up. It is an interesting evening. Looks like we're going to have a little bit of action here where I'm calling the game from. We've got Looks like a fire truck or an ambulance or something along those lines has just pulled up. We got flashing lights are everywhere. So we'll see what is about to go down. Here comes the first offering to Chitani. It's a ground ball, and it's through the 6-hole into left field. And that is going to be a base hit, as Chitani is aboard with a 2-out single. I hope they're not coming to knock on my door, that's for sure. So Chitani is the runner at first. That's going to bring up the shortstop, Yudai Fujioka. For Fujioka, he was a beneficiary of an error his first time up to reach base on the error by Jansen Witt. So he officially in the books is 0 for 1 tonight. He bats from the left side. His average is dipped to 153 on the season. Left-hander against the left-hander, ends, holds at the belt, and he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Fujioka. Demon Slayer says he put 40 grand on the Packers last year to win $5K. And there's a breaking ball that misses, and the count is now 2-0. I don't know if that's necessarily a great return on the potential risk of loss. So here comes the 2-0 pitch. And Enns throws over to first base, and diving back in time is the runner Chitani. Enns has not had a clean inning here yet. And that's part and parcel with the fact that the Lions have committed 3 errors in the first 3 defensive innings. There he looks at the offering, and here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is now 2-1. Also, too, when you look at certain divisions, as we kind of jump off topic and talk a little bit about the NFL here, you look at certain divisions, when you've got the Lions and the Bears in your division, it's a whole lot easier to make some of your picks. No wonder the Packers and the Vikings seem to be in the playoffs every single year. Here's the 2-1 pitch. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Just a couple of programming notes. As we mentioned, we're going to be away for a little bit. Normally our Friday night and Saturday games that we do in the NPB, we won't be calling anything on Friday this week. There is an outside chance that we will be able to do a 10 o'clock game on Saturday. We'll list the scheduled game, but that's 10 o'clock, by the way, on the west coast of Canada and the United States and Mexico, or 1 a.m. on the East Coast. So we'll put that one up, but it'll be fingers crossed that we're going to be able to make it back. We're going to be checking out the Astros and the Mariners this weekend. I haven't seen the starting pitchers yet for the Astros, and there's a breaking ball swung on and missed. And Fujioka goes down on strikes for out number 3, and that is going to do it here in the 4th inning for the Marines. The Marines had no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. We are now through 4 complete. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines to the Seibu Seibu Lions 2. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the top of the 5th in just a couple moments. Glad you guys could bounce in here and make it out here with us tonight for some midweek, midnight baseball. If you're in Canada and the United States and Mexico. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the bottom of the checked at the top of the fifth inning, and it's going to be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters coming to bat here for the Saitama Seibu Lions against Yuma Ishikawa. That means it's going to be Brian O'Grady, Yuta Koga, and Haruka Yamada. And the first offering from Ishikawa is a fastball that misses upstairs for ball one, and the count is 1-0. O'Grady tonight is 0 for 1. He flew out to center field his first time up. As he bats from the left side against the right-handed throwing Ishikawa. Ishikawa kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball swung on. Is grounded to the right side of the infield. It is fielded by Nakamura. He throws to first. Now as a ground out 4-3. Very rarely do you see a shift in Japanese baseball. But there was one right there as Nakamura was playing in the rover position in right field. As the shortstop, Fujioka, was playing to the right side of second base. And that retires O'Grady for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away. That's going to bring up the catcher, Yuta Koga. For Koga, he has scored a run. He walked his first time up. He came around on the second run, scoring the second run for the Lions on that error by Yamakawa. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Check that. Actually, he was the one who was brought in on the RBI single by Shohei Suzuki. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted to deep left field, and this ball is going to be gone. A home run for Koga, his first of the year, a solo shot to left field, and that is going to put the Lions up 3-2 as he rounds the bases. So a solo home run here in the top of the fifth inning has put the Lions back up on top in this seesaw affair as he gets high fives from those as he runs through the dugout line, and that is going to kill the pain of having to watch him try to throw out base runners tonight as he's giving Tomoya Mori the night off from the start. So this is going to bring up Haruka Yamada to the plate. He had a sacrifice bunt his first time up, but he takes a breaking ball inside for ball one, and the count is 1-0. At the end of the fifth inning, we're going to give you guys the updated stuff. And here comes the 0-1 pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is tapped slowly over to third. It is fielded by Chitani. He throws to first. That's going to be a ground out 5-3 for the second out of the inning, and that's going to bring up the top of the order in Shohei Suzuki. Our friend Mick says he needs those Bob cards for his real collection. Yeah, there you go. Demon Slayer says the most I've ever lost on a game was X number amount of dollars. Stanford versus Washington came down to a field goal with 5 seconds left. Yeah, well, that's the problem. And here comes the first pitch. It's a fastball taken for an outside from the corner for a strike on the outside corner, and the count is 0-1 to Suzuki. Eric Cheng said yesterday's game was the first game Seibu's bullpen had blown a lead after 5. Best bullpen in the league. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and there's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-1. Now, the Lions have really cleaned it up a bit this year. I remember watching last year when they had Corey Spangenberg in the lineup, and just the way that they played. I think they're really missing a bat or two, one or two more bats, and one or even another starting pitcher. The Lions could start to separate themselves from the rest of the pack. There's a breaking ball that misses outside. The count is 2-1. They've lost Shogo Akiyama to go to the big leagues. He was a big part of their offense a few years ago. There's a fastball that misses down and in, and the count is now 3-1. Not like Akiyama lit it up in the big leagues, but he is back in the NPB with the Carp. So you take some guys out of your lineup and you start replacing them, and then you just realize how average you really are. Because Akiyama in the NPB was a pretty good table setter. There's a fast swung on. This is grounded up the middle. It's going to be a base hit for Suzuki. He's got himself a 2-out single. That's the second knock of the game for Suzuki. He's on a roll in this series. He was on base 4 times last night. He had 3 singles and a walk, and he continues the hit parade tonight with a couple of more singles. John says he's contemplating skipping the NFL season this year and only betting on college. I got a buddy of mine, was a teammate of mine years ago, and that's all he does is college. My biggest problem with college is I don't follow it enough, so I don't really know what I'm doing. I mean, I know the big teams and everything else like that, but where he makes his money is kind of on those mid-majors. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. To me, I don't follow the MAC conference or some of that other stuff, so it becomes, in some ways, a bit of a crapshoot. Especially early in the season, you can really clean up if you know your college stuff. Or you could get blown up if you don't. There's a fastball that misses inside, and the count is 1-1. So Ido tonight has flown out twice to left field. He's 0 for 2. I mentioned before, this is probably Ido's best season in the NPB. The 25-year-old is getting a chance to play pretty much every day. There's a breaking ball swung on it. Is grounded foul just past the bag at third base, and the count is 1-2. Our friend GetTwat365 says college is 100% better than the NFL. Mick says the Mountain West is a pretty good conference. Demon Slayer says USC and UCLA just left the Pac-12. Yeah, that's really strange on how that's all going to shake down. Of course, they're joining the Big Ten. And there is a throw over to first base. The runner, Suzuki, was on his way to second. They got him picked off, and he is going to be retired on a pickoff. That's going to go 1-3-6, and that's going to end the inning as he's caught stealing for the third out of the inning. But they get a run in the inning. On the home run by Yuta Koga, there was 1 run on 1 hit. Check that, 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. We're now going to the bottom of the 5th inning. It is a 3-2 ball game for the Seibu Seibu Lions. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back here in just a minute for the bottom of the 5th. I'm glad you guys could be with us here tonight. Here is our friend Dave again.
Thanks for checking out Freddie and Last Raps Baseball. It's time to announce the winners of this month's mystery pack. Boom! Josh S., you're the winner. Congratulations. Enjoy the game, and remember to tell Steve Rademacher, pick a haircut. Back to the game.
Appreciate you there, Dave, and the support you give to our channel. In turn, we like to support Dave. Be sure to go check him out after this one. We'll be back, everybody, in about 45 seconds with a call at the bottom of the 5th inning. Glad you guys could be here with us tonight for some midweek Japanese baseball. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be coming up for the Marines, the 9, 1, and 2 hitters in the batting order. It's going to be Ko Matsukawa at the top of the order, and Takashi Ojino and Akito Takabe. So 9, 1, 2 here to face the left-hander Dietrich Enz. Enz has really had to battle here today so far, as the first pitch offered is a fastball swung on it, is lined into left field. Matsukawa's got himself a leadoff single here to start the 5th inning. Not been an easy row for Enz, as the Lions have made 3 errors defensively behind him tonight, and 2 of which have burned him for the runs. So he is got himself, though, a 3-2 lead to work with. That brings up the top of the order in Takashi Ojino. Our friend Getwad is asking questions about old baseball cards. We'll get to that in a second here. They throw over to first base, and getting back easily is Matsukawa. Yeah, during the pandemic, the baseball cards went absolutely crazy. I don't know if it's because people were at home, or at least in 2020, it just took off. It's cooled off a little bit, but there's still quite a bit of interest, and certainly a lot of that stuff there is around. The late 80s stuff, not so much, because it's more the junk box era. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into left field. It's going to get down for a base hit. And Ogino is going to get aboard with a single. So back-to-back singles. And the Marines got something cooking here in their half of the fifth inning with runners at first and second and nobody out. That's going to bring up Akito Takabe. Takabe tonight is 1 for 1. He's doubled home a run, and he's also had a sacrifice bunt. So with runners at first and second, one would anticipate that there's probably going to be a sacrifice situation here. The corners are in, the middles are in double play depth. And the catcher, Koga, has come out to flash some defensive signs. Takabe is one of the quicker runners in all the NPB. He's got 28 stolen bases. But just in general, he can wreak havoc on the base paths. So runners at first and second, nobody out here in the bottom of the fifth. He is already squaring to bunt. And Enns does the inside spaghetti move over to second base to keep the runner Matsukawa close to the bag. I'd be curious to see what they're going to do here. I wonder if we're going to see some high heat, try to get him pop up a fastball here. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It's bunted. It's down, and it is going to be fielded by the pitcher. And they're going to throw Takabe out. That's going to go down as a sacrifice. 1-4. He'll be gone. It's going to advance the runners to second and third. It wasn't the best of bunts, as it was kind of popped up a little bit in the air, but it just was able to get down in front of the pitcher. If that would have been just popped up a little bit more, or maybe hit a little bit further, it probably would have been a out, but Takabe was able to get her done. That's going to bring up Shogo Nakamura to the plate. So back to get Twat's question earlier. Yeah, there's some value in some of that stuff. So Nakamura steps to the plate. He's 0 for 2 tonight. He's grounded to the shortstop, and he has popped out to first. And here comes the first offering from Enns. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into deep left center field. And this ball is up off the wall, and it's going to bounce into the stands. It's going to be a ground rule double for Nakamura. 2 runs are going to cross the plate, and the Marines have now taken a 4-3 lead here in the bottom of the fifth inning. A 2-run RBI double by Nakamura has the Marines now back in front at 4-3. And that is going to bring the pitching coach out to the mound to have a word with their left-hander. So Dietrich Enns they're going to be talking to him, and that's going to bring up first baseman Seiya Inoue. Just watching the replay, that ball was absolutely spanked into the left center field gap. It bounced just in front of the warning track, and then it ended up coming up, hitting the top of the wall and bounding over the fence. So Nakamura does it again. The 3-run homer last night and the 2-run RBI double here tonight. He's got 5 RBIs in the game and a half so far played in this series. Our friend Demon Slayer says he's got some. He's got the Bo Jackson, the Will Clark, and the Barry Bonds. Yeah, all those guys were getting into the late 80s, of more along the lines of the junk wax era. Yeah, stuff in the early 80s. There was a guy recently, and I'll tell you about him in a second. There's a first pitch fastball. This is upstairs. The count is 1-0. He goes by Vintage Oddball Cards on YouTube. And he was talking a little bit about with what the stuff that he has. But he was saying where the investments are to be made would probably be in the pre-war era stuff. because this stuff is starting to get a little bit older. It's starting to become more scarce. There's a fastball swung on. This is lined up the middle. It's a base hit. Rounding third and heading home is Nakamura, and that's going to increase the lead to 5-3, as that is a RBI single by Seiya Inoue. And the runs keep coming here in the 5th inning for the Chiba Lotte Marines, as they've now given themselves a 2-run lead. So this has been a slugfest. Every time that the Lions have scored, the Marines have come back. Some of it because of the defense, and now in this inning, because of some pretty good hitting. That's the 4th hit of the inning allowed by Dietrich Enns. Marines have been able to string some hits together. So that brings Brandon Laird to the plate. Laird tonight is 0 for 2. He has flown to center and struck out his 2 times to the plate. And the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. So Demon Slayer was asking about the KBO. And I think that your information is correct. It's their all-star break. There's a breaking ball that catches the inside corner for a called strike. The count is 1-1. I know Brandon Laird shouldn't like the call there, as he turned and looked at the home plate umpire as he shakes his head. But now he gets himself dug back in. Here comes the 1-1 offering now from Enns. Kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball swung on it, missed, and now the count goes to 1-2 on Laird. As we said tonight, the home plate umpire in this one has been rather erratic on his balls and strikes. I don't know who it is. I don't know if I would call him the Angel Hernandez of the NPB, but he's certainly not been very consistent. There's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded over to the second baseman. Tanasaki's only play is to first. And that is going to retire Laird on a ground out 4-3 for out number 2. It's going to advance Inoue over to second. And that is going to bring up the right fielder, Koki Yamaguchi. Our friend Mick asked the question, did Yasiel Puig win the Derby? Yeah, Yasiel Puig was playing out there. I haven't had a chance to look, but ironically, the numbers at one point in time when I looked were very similar to what he was doing in the MLB, which wasn't very much at the end of his tour in Major League Baseball and not doing a whole lot in the Korean League. Should go back and take a peek and see what he's up to. So stepping off the backside of the rubber is the lefty Enns, and now he's ready to go back to work. Yamaguchi tonight, who strides in here, he's 0 for 2. He's struck out and grounded out. He takes a first pitch fastball for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Get Twat asked the question about Addison Russell. I think Addison Russell is in the unemployment line. He played over the KBO, and it was a very short stint. Amazing that he couldn't get a job back in the big leagues. There's a fastball swung on and missed. Count is 0-2. I remember when Addison Russell was drafted, that he was in that same draft year as Francisco Lindor. There were a lot of shortstops that were taken in that draft. And he was considered to be right there up where there was some of the best, and he can't even get a job in baseball anymore. That must have been some incident that he had in Chicago with the Cubs with his girlfriend. And now Yamaguchi is asked for time, and he's swinging at the fly that's hanging around that was bothering Jansen Witt. Brian Solera says he's in the Mexican League. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is now 1-2. I wonder if he was with the same club that Roberto Osuna was with. By the way, we saw Osuna last night, and he looks all the part. I got to wonder which big league team is going to bring him back next year. And here's the fastball that is swung on and missed. And that is going to do it here as Yamaguchi goes down on strikes for the 3rd out of the inning. But there was damage done and lots of it here in the bottom of the 5th. There were 3 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. We are now through 5 completed as the Chiba Lotte Marines 5, the Seibu Lions 3. Stick around, everybody. We got our proverbial Japanese halftime We'll be back in just a couple moments, and we will give you the out-of-town scoreboard. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in 30 seconds. We'll get you the out-of-town scoreboard from around the NPB. Glad you guys are with us. Hold tight. Welcome back, everybody. We'll take a quick look around the NPB as we have this break in the action. Got some fireworks going off, it looks like, in Chiba here on the in-between. So they've got some stuff happening here, which is kind of interesting that they're doing it after the 5th inning. So that being said, we have the out-of-town scoreboard, and it is a 2-0 lead for the Oryx Buffaloes. That game was in the bottom of the 6th inning, and there is still a no-hitter intact. 2-3-0 for Oryx, 0-0 for the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. Ganaki has gone 6. He's walked 2 and struck out 8. Moto is pitching for the Fighters, and he's having a decent line himself, just not as good as the other one. The big blast was a 2-run homer by Masataki Yoshida. That is where that one stands in the bottom of the 6th inning. In the top of the 4th inning, the Tohoku Rocket and Golden Eagles are continuing to pile it on the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. 13-1 is the scoreline there. 13-0 for the Golden Eagles, 1-3-1 for the Hawks. Hideo Asamura has 5 RBIs in that one tonight. There have been home runs. It was Tatsumi Asamura has got 2, which gives him 17, and Sumitani for Fukuoka, the DH, Alfredo Despania, has a home run. It's his 5th of the campaign. The games over in the Central League, the Yamuri Giants and the Yakult Swallows are all knotted up at 2. That's in the top of the 6th inning. Also in the top of the 6th, the surprising Yokohama Dana Bay Stars have a 4-0 lead over the Chinichi Dragons. Nothing surprising about Chinichi, as they are the bottom feeder of the Central League. Yokohama is in 2nd place in that logjam. There is a battle between the 2 and the 5 spots. There's not too many games separating the 2, 3, and 4 and 5 place teams. And lastly, the Hanshin Tigers in the top of the 6th inning have a 3-1 lead over the Hiroshima Carp. And that is your look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We will be back in just a couple moments with the call here as Ishikawa is completing his warm-up tosses. Hang tight, everybody. Be right back after this.
Hello, friends. Steve coming back at you. A clean-shaven Steve. Thank you for watching Last Reps Baseball, and please continue to support my channel among others, like Another Hollis Build, awesome commercial. And now I'll show you a few more things that we do have. We have toys, like this bobblehead Star Wars on wheels. We have Noids. We can't keep avoiding them forever. We do have Legos. Love my Legos. We have Origami Folder. Check him out. He's new into this, getting started, has good following already. We have Red Beard Breaks. And we also have these things that, in a pinch, will tell you what your temperature is. So, if you like all of this, and if you like Last Reps Baseball, join all of us. We'd love to have you. And I know you would enjoy us. Thank you, peace, good night, and cheers.
Welcome back, everybody. We're a little slow getting out of our break. The first pitch that was delivered to Ito was a breaking ball that he swung on and lifted to center field. And the center fielder, Takabi, was able to come in and make the catch for out number 1. And that is going to bring up Jansen Witt. So Jansen Witt tonight is 0 for 2. He has struck out and grounded to third. He had also committed an error at third base in this one. There's a breaking ball that drops in the inside corner for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. And Witt gives the same reaction that Brandon Laird just did in the last half inning. Can't believe that pitch was the call to strike. I have to be right there with him. The pitch sure didn't look like a called strike to me. It's only because the home plate umpire said so. So here comes the 0-1 offering. And there's a breaking ball. That one misses. That one looked better than the first one. Count is 1-1. Brian Solera says, Kenny Vargas, Chris Carter, Juan Perez, Keon Broxton, and Felix Perez. I wondered where Chris Carter had washed up to. I was a little surprised he didn't make his way over to the NPB. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is now 1-2. I was in Seattle one time, and I saw Chris Carter go yard in the top of the ninth inning to tie the ball game up against the Mariners. In fact, I think it might have actually put them in the lead. And it was a pretty entertaining ball game, that particular one. But Chris Carter, a lot of power in the bat. Just way too many strikeouts, had hard time making an adjustment. There's a fastball swung on it, is lifted into center field. Drifting over to his left is the center fielder, Takabe. He makes the catch. And just like that, 2 up and 2 away here in the 6th inning, and that is going to leave it up to the first baseman, Hataka Yamakawa. Yamakawa steps to the plate. He is 1 for 2 tonight. He hit his league-leading 28th homer of the campaign. He's got a home run and a strikeout. He is 1 for 2. Our friend Mick says a KBO versus MLB exhibition game. I'd like to see the MLB go back with their postseason tour when they bring their players over. They have an all-star team and they go over and play a series against the NPB. They usually do that in November. There's a breaking ball swung on it. It's popped up in front of home plate. Racing out in front of it is the catcher, Matsukawa. He's going to make the catch. And that is going to be a really quick top of the 6th inning for the Seibu Lions. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 5.5. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 5, the Seibu Lions 3. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back after this. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back with this from Steve.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name, and I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Appreciate you there, Steve, and your support. We'll be back in 30 seconds, everybody, with the call at the bottom of the 6th inning. We're glad you're with us. Welcome back, everybody. I assume we're going to start to have some pitching changes coming up here. We'll see what the Lions have decided to do, if they're going to stay with ends or not. We haven't got any updates. It is going to be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters in the batting order. That means Chitani, Fujioka, and Matsukawa. It was a pretty good top of the 6th inning. I'll talk to Mick. I'll let you know, or I'll let Steve know. He says he's got some stuff, but he said he'll have to go through his, when I did talk to him today, as a matter of fact, he said he'd have to go through what he's got and look at what he's got for doubles, and I can connect you with them. And here comes the first offering. It is a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. Then I'll leave you guys to sort out all the details on that. Usually he's pretty fair. He's more of a collector than he is a salesman. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-1. Chitani today is 1 for 2. He singled and grounded out in his 2 trips to the plate. Our friend Getwat says a NPB KBO matchup would be nice to see. That'd be interesting. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 2-1. My money would be on the NPB on that one for a series victory. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Chitani. You see sometimes the players that come over from the KBO that have a lot of success go to the NPB and then they really fall off. There's a fastball that swung on and fouled away, and the count goes to 2-2. Just the quality of the pitching is night and day in the KBO compared to the NPB. You look at even like a guy like Ha-Seong Kim, the big star shortstop over in the Korean League who came over to the San Diego Padres, had all this power, all these RBIs, and he literally hit 100 points lower in Major League Baseball his first year than he did in the Korean League. There's a fastball that misses outside. The count is now 3-2 to Chitani. It was 83 pitches in the first 5 innings for Dietrich Denz. I would have to think that he's going to face the bottom part of the order here, and if it gets to the top, his night might be over. So here's the 3-2 pitch, and there's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 3-2. Nick says Bob's music is the best. Yeah, be kind of curious to see what they actually did with those type of things. I wonder what kind of information you could get off the back of that. Interesting story for you while you guys are listening in. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 3-2. I don't know if there's any hockey fans out here, but when I used to live back east, I ran into this is going back about 30 years ago, I ran into the great Scotty Bowman, maybe 25 years ago, the former coach of the Red Wings at the time, and of course he had coached with the Penguins and the Canadians and the Buffalo Sabres, amongst other teams. Here's the 3-2 pitch. It's a fastball that misses down and in. Chitani's going to get himself a leadoff walk here to begin the bottom of the 6th inning, and that's going to bring up the shortstop Yudai Fujioka. One would have to think that Fujioka is going to be in a sacrifice situation here, as he entered the game tonight with a 155 batting average. Whatever they can do to move him into scoring position and then hopefully punch him across with the next 2 hitters. Anyway, Scotty Bowman, it was said that he was a big sport card collector, even as a coach in the National Hockey League. Here comes the pitch. It is a fastball, and it's bunted down. It is fielded by the catcher. He fires over to first, and that is going to retire. That's going to retire Fujioka on a sacrifice. Goes down as 2-4 for the first out of the inning. It's going to advance Chitani to second. That's going to bring up Ko Matsukawa. So I remember I was in a men's store, and it was in the city of Windsor, and it happened to be almost close to closing, and who was in there was Scotty Bowman and shopping with his wife at the time. Anyways, made eye contact with him, and he kind of smiled, and I was going about my business. And then, anyways, I went over, I introduced myself to him, and we talked for a couple minutes, and I asked him a question, and I said, I understand that you collect sports cards. Is that correct? And this is, of course, probably in the early 90s, so the internet age was just sort of starting to come around. Early to mid 90s, probably about 1994, around that time, as there was a breaking ball taken for a called strike. Ko Matsukawa is the hitter. He's 1 for 2 tonight. He's got a single and scored a run. And he said that he did, and asked him a reason why he collected the cards was because he wanted to kind of get to know the players a little bit better. And of course, at the time, you didn't have the internet like you do today. There's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is 1-1. So I guess, when he's looking on the back of the cards, if you go back into the 70s and 80s, they used to tell the hobbies of the players. And this guy likes to hunt and fish, or this guy, what does he do in the off season? Well, if you get to know the players a little bit better by looking at some of their bios, who do you want on your team? Do you want the guys who are hunting and fishing? Or do you want the guys who are, taking up building doll houses on your team? As there's a fastball that misses inside, and the count is now 2-1. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And anyways, with the Bob Marley stuff, I'm just kind of curious what they have on the back, what kind of stories they would have on Bob, or what kind of information you could get out of it, maybe more so than anything else that you wouldn't maybe necessarily find on the web. There's a breaking ball swung on. This is grounded through the 6th hole into left field. It is fielded by the left fielder. He comes up throwing. It's cut off by Witt. They put the brakes on as Chitani is going to hold at third. It's going to be a single for Matsukawa, his second hit of the ball game. They got runners on the corners, and that is going to bring up the top of the order in Takashi Ojino. It's also going to bring the manager out of the Seibu Lions dugout, and that looks like it's going to be it for Dietrich Enns. So hang tight, everybody. Here we got runners on the corners. There's one gone. We got a pitching change as the Lions left-handers' day is coming to an end. We'll be right back here in just a moment with the call at the bottom of the sixth inning after we get all the information on this pitching change.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. It is a pitching change as it is going to be Miyagawa coming in relief. It looks like he's doing a little bit of pre-pitch gardening, a little bit of maintenance on the mound as he is pawing at the mound here. So Miyagawa in as he is a right-hander who's taking over. This is his third season with the Lions. The 26-year-old is going to be working in his 28th ball game. He's 1-0 on the year. He's also got a save. He's worked 28 2/3 innings. He's allowed 23 hits. He's walked 13. He's struck out 27, and he's posted an ERA of 2.20. So Dietrich Enns' day is done. A little bit of hard luck there for Enns. The runs certainly that he allowed in the fifth inning were charged to him, but certainly the first two runs that he gave up and the extra pitches he had to throw in the first and the third inning were because of the shoddy defense that was rolled out behind him. So Miyagawa is in. Enns' day is done, although the runners on first and third are his responsibility. So Tetsu Miyagawa taking over here as pitcher number 2. The parade is about to begin out of the Lions bullpen. Curious to see if they're going to bring the right-hander Ishikawa back out for the Marines, as he's had some pretty efficient last couple of innings. So it'll really be interesting to see if they're going to roll him. He's been able to retire the side in order in 2 of the last 3 innings. But if they will, they themselves will go to the pen. So this is going to bring up the top of the order in Takashi Ojino. Ojino tonight has been on base all 3 times. He's got 2 singles. He reached on an error. He's got a stolen base. And he has scored 3 of the 5 Marines runs. So he bats from the right side against the right-hander Miyagawa. He waggles the bat. He's got a slight bit that he chokes up a couple inches off the bottom of the bat. We'll be keeping our eye on a potential safety squeeze situation because this is something that could be done here. Here comes the first offering. And the pitch is the fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into right center field. Moving over as the center fielder, making the catch is going to be the center fielder Suzuki. Tagging at third and scoring is the runner Chitani. That is going to bring home the 6th run of the game for the Marines. So a sacrifice fly for Ojino. He collects himself an RBI, and that is going to bring up Akito Takabe. So a 6-3 lead now for the Marines with Takabe stepping to the plate. Takabe tonight is officially 1 for 1. He doubled and knocked the run in the first inning, and then he's had 2 sacrifice bunts. His other 2 trips to the plate. So a 6-3 lead now for the Marines as there's a fastball that catches the inside corner for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Brian Solera, as I go back up the dial, Brian asked, do you think if there's going to be 4 more runs in the game? Well, now that would be, do I think there could be 3 more? Yeah, I do. The way this game is playing out, I think this game is going to be a 8 or 9 run ball game for the Marines. And there's a base hit grounded through the 6-hole into left field, and DeCabi is aboard for the second time tonight. The base hit single here. That advances Metsukawa over to second, and that's going to bring up the second baseman, Shogo Nakamura. Nakamura is having a big series here. He had a 3-run homer last night. He had a 2-run double his last time up and scored a run. He's 1 for 3 tonight. So Nakamura steps to the plate. Demon Slayer says the best place to get old vinyl is at thrift stores. He's got like 300 records. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The thrift stores on the West Coast are something special. They're all over the place. There's the first pitch breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Nakamura. You're absolutely right. Everything and anything from Frank Sinatra to Metallica and all points in between. Lots of vinyl out there. Vinyl making the comeback over the last few years. And Brian is spreading rumors. Apparently there's a breaking ball that misses inside, and the count is 1-1. He said about the Mariners making a trade. Zach Greinke isn't going anywhere according to the Kansas City Royals. I think he's going to retire in a Royals uniform. And I sure wouldn't want Greinke and Dozier in the Emerald City. And our friend Get Twat said that would be pretty dumb. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen at all. Here comes the 1-1 offering, and there's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined to the shortstop as the shortstop Yamada was moving to his left to make the catch, and that is going to do it here in the 6th inning, but there was more damage done for the Marines in their half of the inning. They had 1 run in the inning on the 2 hits. There were no errors and 2 runners left aboard. We are now through 6 complete. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines in the lead 6-3 over the Saitama Seibu Lions. Stick around, everybody. We got the final third of this one coming up after this. We're glad you guys can make it in here tonight for some late night Japanese baseball action. Here is, once again, our friend Steve Rademacher.
Hey guys, and thank you, Freddie. Steve coming back at you. That's right, Steve Rademacher. I would like to thank each and every one of you that is tuned into my channel. And today, let's do a little shout out for some other great channels you should be watching. There is WVogs 18. There's Big D's Sports and Collectibles. You all know another Hollis build. Why not Like Father, Like Son? That's a great duo that does some great stuff. It shows some great cards. And of course, the one and only Bud Stoney, creators of One of Ones, a creator of One of Ones, and they're all signed on the back. Bud Stoney, One of One, like this beautiful Robin Yount that he made for me. He made me another Robin Yount, this time a mini and a Christian Yelich mini. Great cards, and he does more than cards. We have darts of Hulk Hogan and many other things. So give them a look-see and give me another look-see. Subscribers are always welcome, and back to Freddie.
Appreciate you, Steve. We do have a pitching change for the Marines. We'll get you the specs on Toki Tojo when we return in just a moment. He's back in for his 2nd night of work. Hold tight, everybody. We'll be right there. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be Taiki Tojo coming into the ball game. He is replacing Ishikawa, who worked the first 6 for the Marines. This is going to be his 43rd appearance of the season. He's 3-2 on the year. He's worked 40 and 2/3 innings, allowing 33 hits, 9 walks. He has struck out 45, and he's got an ERA of 1.55. So Tojo on in relief, and he is going to be facing the 5, 6, and 7 hitters in the Marines order. It'll be Shuta Tonosaki, Takia Nakamura, and Brian O'Grady. And here comes the first offering. It is a fastball that's taken for a called strike. Down is no balls and 1 strike to Tonosaki. Tonosaki tonight is 0 for 2. He's popped to third and grounded out to third in his 2 trips to the plate. And here comes the 0-1 offering. It's a fastball that just misses, and the count is now 1-1. As I said, I've had a hard time with the home plate umpire tonight with his balls and strikes. There are some pitches that have looked really, really good. They have not been called for strikes, and some other ones that have been quite dicey that have been called for balls. There's a breaking ball that just misses off the outside corner, and the count is 2-1. But you can also see the reaction of the hitters. Usually the Japanese players, more so than the North American, they really don't say much verbally, but their body language speaks 1,000 words. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 2-2. I had a good kick out of, if you guys are ever on Twitter, somebody's got it out there where they have an umpire's scorecard, and it's released after each game on the umpires for the home plate umpire. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into left field. This ball is going to get down. It's going to get up the gap and against the wall. Digging around first and heading for 2 is Tonosaki, and he's going to arrive with a stand-up double at second base. He's got himself a double, and that's going to bring up the DH, Takia Nakamura. So the runs are still arguably going to be coming here fast and furious in this ball game. Our friend Brian asked a couple moments ago, are there going to be 4 more runs? I can see this game easily being a 9-5 game. I don't think the scoring is done yet by any stretch. Of course, unless you get to Roberto Osuna in the top of the 9th, then I don't think there'll be any runs. I don't even know if they'll be able to put the bat on the ball if he throws like he did last night. So here comes the first offering to Nakamura. Tojo delivers. It's a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. Anyways, I started to say about the story about Angel Hernandez. When Angel Hernandez did a game this weekend, and they put out the report, and I thought it was pretty funny because Hernandez had a really good game. And a lot of people on Twitter were, of course, shocked that Hernandez had such a game. It was arguably his best game of the year in a 10-0 blowout for the Guardians over the Tigers as a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count goes to 1-1. That was a treat. And, for as bad as he was, the hitters actually handled themselves pretty good. There's a fastball swung on. This ball's belted to deep left field, racing back and looking up, but it's off the wall. It is fielded by the left fielder. Rounding third and heading home is Tonosaki. And Takia Nakamura has got himself an RBI double. And he didn't miss by much to have that ball fly out of the park, but that's going to be an RBI double for Nakamura. It's going to score Tonosaki from second. And that is going to cut into the lead. It is now a 6-4 ball game, and the Marines pitching coach has made a sprint out to the mound to have a talk with Tojo. Our friend Brian Solera jumps in and he says, look, guys, you're hearing it here first. The Phillies will be buyers at the deadline. They'll acquire a more reliable reliever and a hitter, and they will make it to the World Series. And they're on his dark horse to win it all. Well, after you threw out the Zach Greinke, Carl Crawford trade and Logan Gilbert trade, I'm not sure that a lot of people, Brian, are going to put a lot of stock into that one. But if you believe it, we wish you well and hope you come up big. But I will say this, the firing of Joe Girardi has sort of settled that team down a little bit. Here comes the first offering to Brian O'Grady as he waits on Delivery from the righty Tojo, and it's a breaking ball that misses down. They appeal over to the third base umpire for help to see if he went, and they said he didn't go. So 1 ball and no strikes to O'Grady. A Demon Slayer says he's got his grow going on there in Northern California. Here comes the 1-0 pitch from Tojo. It's a fastball swung on and missed. Count is now 1-1. Now, Harper coming back healthy in a few weeks is going to be big. That's like a late season acquisition. Gene Segura coming back. And Gene Segura, I really liked Gene Segura when he was in Seattle. I also liked him in Milwaukee for that matter, too. He always has been able to hit. I don't know what the deal is with Segura. He's got something in his... There's some sort of issues where they seem to follow or crop up with Segura. The fastball swung on and missed, and the count is now 1-2 to O'Grady. He got into a fight, I guess, in the locker room. I don't want to say a fight. We'll just say an altercation. It could have been a fight with D. Gordon when he was with Seattle. And, of course, that sort of was where they sort of blew up some of the guys off of that team, and Segura was jettisoned out, as was Gordon was a little bit later. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to O'Grady. So I don't know if it was one guy or the other. Segura obviously still in the big leagues. Gordon was last look in AAA. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count is 2-2. Brian also says that Castellanos will get into a groove in the second half of the season. Well, he's going to have to. He's got to get going like he was in Cincinnati. He really did pretty well in Cincinnati. Sometimes a change of scenery isn't always a good thing for players. There's the 2-2 pitch, and it is a split finger pitch swung on and missed, and O'Grady is gone. That looked like it was ball 3 that he swung at. He is going to be retired for the first out of the inning, and that's going to bring up the catcher, Yuto Koga. For Koga tonight, he is 1 for 1. He's got the homer and the RBI, and the last time up, he's also walked and scored a run. He's accounted for 2 of the 4 runs for the Lions tonight. Mick says all these new shifts in baseball this year is insane. Yeah, pretty tired of the shift, but pretty tired of the poor offensive adjustments that the hitters are making. Here comes the first pitch. It is a breaking ball that catches the outside corner for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Koga definitely stood him up there because he didn't think that was a strike. As he looks back in disbelief towards the home plate umpire. And he's the catcher for the Lions, so you would think he's got a fairly decent grasp of the strike zone. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is now 1-1. As I remember before, there was a fellow who used to work for me when he played in the Boston organization. He said that when he came back after the season, this is going back into 2013 or 14, might have been 14, that the players were given explicit instructions not to bunt into the shift, the minor leaguers. So if the shift was on against you, you were not, and the Boston or organizational philosophy, Boston didn't want you bunting in the shift. Well, how stupid is that? There's the 1-1 pitch. There's a fastball swung on. It is grounded over to short. It is fielded neatly by the shortstop Fujioka, who throws to first. That's going to retire Koga on a ground out 6-3. For out number 2, holding at second is Nakamura. That's going to bring up the shortstop Haruka Yamada. So if you don't want them bunting when the third baseman is playing 6 steps from second base, well, then the shift is going to stay. It's going to stay right there for you. I mean, all of a sudden, if I'm dropping bunts down, I saw Brandon Belt against the Brewers last week drop a sacrifice, or not a sacrifice, drop the bunt down with 2 strikes on him. They had nobody at third base, and he just got himself a free base hit. I guess he's got a number of those hits this year. I want to say about 6 or 7. And good on you, Brandon Belt, because I never thought he had that in him if you would ask me a couple of years ago. And here comes the first offering to Yamada. It's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-0. Our friend Get Twat says, you finally are going to be removing it next year, which is good. I'm really happy that they're getting rid of that stuff. And here comes the 1-0. It's a fastball that catches the inside corner, and the count is now 1-1. One thing I would say, Brian, as Brian Solera posts up the Philly lineup, two things that pop for me. One is they need another starting pitcher, because I don't know if outside of Wheeler and Nola, you've got a third October arm in that starting staff. As there's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is now 1-2. The other thing I will also say is that they need a real table setter at the top of the order. Schwarber hitting leadoff is like a landmine coming up to bat. Like, it's just, I don't know I can understand why they have Schwarber there. They got nobody else. Somebody's got to hit leadoff. They really need a true table setter at the top of the orders. Yamada waits on the 1-2 offering here from Tojo. As Tojo delivers, it is a breaking ball swung on. It is popped up over on the third base side. Racing in on it is the third baseman, Chitani. He makes the catch, and that is going to do it here. The Lions are able to get one back here in the top of the seventh inning. There was one run in the inning on one hit. There were no errors and one runner left aboard. We are now through 6.5. The Chiba Lotte Marines 6, the Saitama Seibu Lions 4. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back here in just a couple moments. We're glad you guys could be here with us tonight for some late night baseball. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving now to the bottom of the seventh inning. And we do have some defensive changes that are coming up here, and usually we get those as we move along. Reliever Miyagawa is still in the game for the Lions, as he's coming in to start his second inning of work. Defensively, as we just take a quick peek around, looks like there is a defensive change. I'm not sure where that change will take place. It's Shinya Hasegawa in the ballgame. Curious to see if he has come in to replace Jansen Witt at third base. It would be a bit of a peculiar substitution for my end of things, but I'll have to wait here and see if that is the deal. It's going to be Seiya Inoue who leads it off here. He's 1 for 3 tonight. He's got an RBI. Be followed by Brandon Laird and Koki Yamaguchi. Inoue batting .270 on the season. He's got himself a homer and 4 RBIs now. And here comes the first offering from Miyagawa. It's a breaking ball that misses off the outside corner, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Inoue. You have some big boys in the lineup on both sides. The bookends, Nakamura and Yamakawa for the Saitama Seibu Lions. If they didn't have careers playing baseball, they might be looked at to play some football in North America. Seiya Inoue is a big fella as well for the Marines. He's got a similar type of girth. I'd say when I compare them to Ji-Man Choi, the Korean who plays first base for the Rays. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 1-1. Check that, 2-1 now to Inoue. So 2 balls and 1 strike. I'm going to have to get up and get some more tea going on here in between the innings. We actually got a good nap in before we had this one tonight. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count goes to 2-2. Unless something crazy happens, I do not anticipate to be doing the game tomorrow night. But I could change my mind. I do want to do the major league games, 2 major league games on Thursday. As I said, we're going to take Friday off. Saturday, I'll post a Saturday night game. But that might be a late cancellation on that one. I'm not 100% sure yet. We're not going to be doing any midweek action in the NPB next week. I can guarantee you that. And other things we got to take care of. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count is 3-2. And then we'll be back on for our regular Friday night and Saturday night North American times, which would be Saturday and Sunday in Japan for those ball games. So here comes the 3-2 pitch now to Inoue. Miyagawa holds at the belt, and he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses inside, and that's going to be ball 4. And he is aboard with a walk. So Inoue is aboard with a walk. That's going to bring up the designated hitter, Brandon Laird. For Laird tonight, he is 0 for 3. He has flown out to center. He has struck out and grounded out to second. His average has dipped down to 203 on the season. Laird's 12 home runs leads the Marines. Our friend Eric Cheng, who was in here earlier, I'm not sure if he's still around or not, but Eric we were talking a little bit about this the other night. Our friend Get Twat is looking for information, or if you're always looking for information, if you guys, whether you're on Twitter or not, you can Google Twitter NPB Reddit. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the fellow who runs the account is a Yakult Swallows fan, but he does an outstanding job of posting the day's probable starters, also the standings and all kinds of information, linking a lot of the English stuff. So if you want to get some information on the NPB, it's a good resource. It's not the only resource, but it's a very good one. Fastball misses upstairs, and the count is 1-1. Using the Google Translate portion is something that's good when you go and look at the Japan Times or Yahoo out of Japan as well. The one thing I would like to see more of, or what I would love to be able to get my hands more of, or just like how Major League Baseball has MLB trade rumors, there's a fastball swung on. It's hit on the fist. It's looped to the shortstop. That is going to be caught. That is going to retire Laird. They thought they may have had a shot across the infield as Yamada had made the catch and thought that Inoue had maybe gotten a little too far off of first base, but instead it is going to be 1 out. That is going to bring up the right fielder, Koki Yamaguchi. For Yamaguchi, he is 0 for 3 tonight. He has struck out twice and grounded to second. And holding at the belt is the right-hander Miyagawa, who kicks and delivers. There's a fastball. I'm not sure where that pitch was. I'd like to see that one again. They say it was low. The count is 1-0. That would have been one of those pitches that you got to wonder about. I think if I was in the dugout, you can see the up-down. You can't see the in-out. That up-down looked pretty darn good. Comes the 1-0 offering. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted to deep left field. Moving back onto the warning track and looking up, and this one is gone. Koki Yamaguchi has just hit a 2-run homer for the Marines, and they are going to extend their lead to 8-4 over the Lions. So there you go, Brian. There's your 4 runs that you were asking for. And I think there's still more on the board. So a 2-run shot by Yamaguchi. Inoue crosses the plate ahead of him. And the score is now 8-4 for the Marines. So if you guys were taking the over in this one, I'm pretty sure that you've already had to cover. So there you have it. So a 2-run shot by Yamaguchi. But again, this one's not over yet. I still can see a couple more runs being scored here in this one. So 8-4 is the scoreline. And here comes the first offering. To Chitani, it's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. Chitani tonight has been on base twice. He's singled, he's walked, he's scored a run, and he's grounded out. So officially 1 for 2. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball that is swung on and tap foul just past the third base coach's box, and the count is 1-2. Our friend Mick jumps in and he says that the Carp has just tied it with the Tigers. Last time I looked in on that one, it was 3-1, I believe, for the Tigers. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Chitani. And here's the delivery from Miyagawa. It's a fastball that misses outside, and the count now runs to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. One of the things that was noticeable this year was just the lack of home run production right across the Pacific League, especially in comparison to what you saw in the Central League. And there's a fastball swung on and missed. That's going to retire Chitani for the second out of the inning, and that's going to leave it up to the shortstop, Yudai Fujioka. But the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles are continuing to pound out runs in Fukuoka. 16-1 for the Golden Eagles, and that's just in the top of the 6th inning. I actually thought about maybe making the call on that one for about 20 seconds today. Thank God we didn't. We would have had ourselves a major blowout on our hands. But it is 8-4 here. And here's the pitch to Fujioka. It's a fastball that misses down for a ball, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. It's the shortstop Yamada who's been replaced by Hasegawa. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It is grounded to first. It's fielded neatly by Yamakawa. He steps on the bag, and that is going to do it. As Fujioka is out on a ground out to first for out number 3. So for the Marines in their half of the inning, there was 2 runs in the inning on 2 hits. The home run by Yamaguchi. There were no errors and nobody left the board. We are now through 7 complete. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 8, the Saitama Seibu Lions 4. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the top of the 8th inning when we return. Appreciate you guys all for hanging in here with us tonight. A great night for baseball from Chiba. Would you like to support Last Drafts Baseball? We would appreciate it if you did. Be sure to check out our eBay page where we have baseball merchandise. We also have stuff from the Japanese League for those who listen from Japan. But we also do other sports like football and basketball as well. Don't forget, visit Last Drafts Baseball's eBay store to help support the channel. We'll be glad you did. Welcome back, everybody. We have a pitching change for the Chiba Lotte Marines. In the pitch, the top of the 8th inning is going to be Fumiya Ono. He's working his 35th game of the season. He's got 31 2/3 innings under his belt. 26 hits, walking 12, striking out 24, and pitching to an ERA of 1.99. So Ono is taking over here in the 8th inning. Our friend Brian asked the question. He says, do you see 2 more runs or not? I do. I still see couple more. I was saying 9-5 as the final a couple innings ago. So, yeah, I can see that potentially happening. It is Oka in the ball game. I'm going to have to check to see where he's coming in for defensively for the Marines. I was going to have a guess. I would think that he would probably be in right field for Yamaguchi. I'll have to get you that update in a second. So Ono has completed his warm-up tosses, and he's ready to go back to work here. And he's going to get the top of the order. It's going to be Shohei Suzuki, Ito, and Jansen Witt to face the Marines right-hander. Suzuki tonight is 2 for 3. He's got a couple of singles and an RBI. He was caught stealing the last time he came to the plate. He was on base 4 times last night with 3 hits, so he's having himself a decent series. The first pitch is a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-0. On the season, he's raised his average up to 240. The home run and 7 RBIs to go with it. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that catches the inside corner, and the count now goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Just as a reminder, if you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button at some point. And if you want to know when we're calling the games, hit the bell notification. So it'll give you the updates as well. There's a ball that misses, and the count is 2-1. As we said, we will be back on to be making the calls on the weekend. Here's the 2-1 offering. It is a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is now 2-2. I don't think we're going to be doing the midnight or the middle of the night game tomorrow night. So our plan is to do 2 major league games on Thursday, but that could be subject to change. If we do the overnight game, then we'll probably do the late game on Thursday. And Friday, I am on my way to Seattle. We can give you some live updates. I'm going to try to get some slow motion pitching coverage. I'm going to get down into the bullpen area and to try to get some video on some of the arms. I did that a couple of years ago where I've got Mike Fires and I've got Corey Knabel on the website. I always like to put up some of that stuff where people like to come in and check out the mechanics of the pitchers. So we're going to do some of that stuff. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. It is a fastball swung on and missed. Suzuki is retired on strikes for the first out here in the 8th inning, and that's going to bring up the right fielder, Ito. Demon Slayer says it's now 17-1. And that game between the Eagles and the Hawks. Well, both the first place teams, the Lions and the Hawks, are losing tonight, so that's even going to tighten things up a little bit more. Here comes the pitch. It's a breaking ball that misses upstairs going into the All-Star break, which is, I don't believe, next week. It's the week after. Oh, it is next week. I think it is the next week is the All-Star games. There's 2 All-Star games in Japan. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that misses down, and the count is now 2 balls and no strikes. I don't think we're going to be calling the All-Star games, much like the one that we didn't call in Major League Baseball tonight. Thought about doing it earlier in the day and thought maybe we weren't going to do this one. We would do one or the other. There's a fastball that swung on and missed, and losing control of the bat is Ito as it flies all the way to the third base dugout. It's going to run the count to 2-1, and I think Ito is going to want some more of that pine tar or the magic spray as he lost control of the bat. That bat was destined right there for the on-deck circle where Jansen Witt would have been if he wasn't adjacent to the right. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Ito. Here comes the offering from the right-hander. Oh no, he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted to deep left field, but not deep enough, as camping out underneath it is the left fielder, Ogino. He makes the catch. That is going to retire Ito for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to leave it up to the third baseman, Jansen Witt. For Witt, he is 0 for 3 tonight. He has struck out, he's grounded out, and he's flown out to center field. So Witt steps in, batting from the right side, ready to face the first offering from the right-hander Ono, who kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Jansen Witt. Witt waggles the bat, waiting on the offering from the right-hander Ono. And he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and now he's quickly ahead at 0-2. It's a real 12-6 breaking ball, that's for sure. So no balls and 2 strikes. Ono holds at the belt, and now he kicks and he fires. It's a breaking ball that is waved at and missed. And Witt is down on strikes for the 3rd out. And that is going to do it here for the Lions in their half of the 8th inning. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now through 7.5. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 8, the Saitama Seibu Lions 4. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments. The call at the bottom of the 8th inning. We're glad you guys could be here with us. We'll check in on some of that other stuff in just a moment. Still no hitter going, apparently in Oryx, or in Osaka in this case. Here's our friend Steve again.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining Freddie here on his baseball game. And I'm Steve Rademacher, and my channel is really all about everybody, including all my international friends. We have such stuff as non-sport packs from Canada, the OP Cheese. We have the Greek Freak. We have money from around the world. We have Lira. We have Yen. We have francs. We have pounds. We have Deutschmarks. We have all kinds of cool stuff like that. We even have some cooler things like Japanese women wrestlers and OP-Chi baseball cards where I cannot read the back. We even have unopened material like the royal family, I know it's backwards, from London, England. Thank you for watching. Back to Freddie.
Appreciate you there, Steve, and your support of the channel. And in turn, we like to support Steve. We do have a pitching change, and we'll get you that information in just a moment when we come back after this. Hold tight, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Ren Omagari taking over here on the mound. The right-hander is appearing in his 5th game of the season for the Lions. He has worked 3 2/3 innings, allowing 4 hits, 3 walks, given up 5 runs, all 4 of which have been earned. He's got a 9.82 ERA. So our friend Brian Solera, who's wanting to know if there's going to be a couple more runs scored, this might be the time that we might see it. We do have some defensive changes as well for the Lions. I'll have to get you those as we come along here, but one would have to think that this is going to be an opportunity to score some runs. It's going to be right here and right now. It's going to be the 9-1-2 hitters in the batting order. It'll be Ko Matsukawa to lead it off. He's 2 for 3 tonight. He's raised his season average up to 167 with the 2 knocks. And it'll be the top of the order, Ogino and Takabe, to follow. They have wreaked havoc on the Lions tonight offensively. And there's a first pitch fastball that this is down for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. Matsukawa 2 singles and the ground out to the second baseman. It's been the bottom part of the batting order that has laid the groundwork. There's a fastball that misses down and in, and the count is now 2-0. The middle part of the order, I should say the 5-6 hitters have been outside of the home run, the 2-run homer by Yamaguchi, relatively quiet tonight. So here's the 2-0 pitch. It's the top of the bottom part that have got it going. And there's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. And here comes the offering from the right-hander, who delivers a fastball that misses upstairs and is now 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike. So Omagari is already falling behind in the count here. Here comes the offering. It's a fastball swung on. It is grounded over to short. It is fielded by Hasegawa. He throws to first. That is going to retire Matsukawa on a ground out 6-3 for out number 1. That is going to bring up the top of the order in Takashi Ojino. So for Ojino tonight, he's been on base 3 times. He is officially 2 for 3. He's got 2 singles. He reached on an error. He's got a stolen base. He also has a sac fly and driven in a run. He has scored 3 times as he takes a first pitch breaking ball upstairs for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. It'll be Akito Takabe who waits his turn on deck. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Gino waiting on the offering here from the right-hander who kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses up and in, and the count now goes to 3-0. That's why I was a little bit strange that Matsukawa had swung at that last pitch at 3-1. The pitch wasn't particularly great because he grounded out. 6 of the 8 pitches delivered tonight from Ogari have been for a ball. Here comes the 3-0. There's a fastball that carves the plate right in half, and the count is now 3-1 to Ojino. Put a good swing on a good pitch. He's got to throw a good pitch here because he doesn't want to walk this guy. Here comes the 3-1 offering. There is a fastball that's delivered. It's a ground ball to short. Again, Hasegawa fields it. He throws to first. It was an instant replay of the first one. That's a ground out 6-3 for out number 2. That's going to leave it all up to Akito Takabe. Well, Takabe tonight is 2 for 2. He's got a single, a double. He's also got an RBI, and he's got 2 sacrifice bunts. He's raised his average up to 265 on the season. We got Ruben Hogan in the house tonight. Welcome, Ruben. For some early morning action, probably at your end. It's very late into the evening here. 4:40 Pacific time or 7:40 Eastern. Here comes the first pitch. It's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count is 1-0 to Takabe. Takabe batting from the left side against the right-handed offerings. Omagari. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that swung on and fouled away. Count remains at 1-1. So Omagari looking like he's going to be able to get the job done here, as he's got 2 outs. It's not been the most efficient way. As we said, 6 of the first 10 pitches he threw were balls. And here comes the 1-1 pitch. There's a fastball that swung on and tap foul. Our friend Brian Solaris says if these guys had better eyes, there could be first and second, nobody out. Yeah, this is for sure. 7 out of the 13 pitches have been for balls. The other part about the pitcher that's here is that he's not exactly got a lot of movement and depth on his stuff. Our Demon Slayer says he's tapping out. We appreciate you for being in here tonight. Thanks again for stopping by, as there's a fastball that misses down, and the count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. And you got that for sure, Brian. If a little bit more discipline. But I guess that's why Matsukawa is hitting 9th. I can't comment. Gino's had a pretty good night tonight. Maybe he gets a hall pass on that one. There's a fastball swung on and grounded foul. The count remains at 2-2. So 8-4 is the lead here in the ninth inning. There's two gone. Sorry, in the eighth inning. There's two gone here in the bottom of the eighth. As the Marines are batting here in their half. And here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into left field. Moving over underneath it is the left fielder, O'Grady. He makes the catch, and that is going to do it here for the third out of the inning. For the Marines, they get no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. It goes down for the last inning for the Lions as we're going to the top of the ninth. The score is the Marines 8 and 4 for the Lions. There will be a pitching change. Will it be Roberto Osuna? Well, stay tuned, everybody. We'll see if it's going to be him to come in and close it out like he did last night. It's not a safe situation, but we don't know. Here we go. Here's Matt.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole. A little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play. But you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the closer coming in for the Chiba Lotte Marines. It is going to be Naoya Masuda. It is a non-save situation, but he is working his 37th game. He's 0-1 on the year. He's got 22 saves. He's worked 36 innings. He's allowed 27 hits, 9 walks, and 32 strikeouts. He's got an ERA of 2.50. So he is coming on in relief here in the top of the ninth inning to finish this one off for the Marines. So it will be a tough one here tonight for them to be able to get those 2 runs back for our friend Brian. There are some changes defensively as we'll have to keep up on. Just a couple of notes. We will wrap up this one here when this game is finished, and we will do the roundup around the NPB and give the recap of all the scoring on this one once this game is completed. So top of the ninth inning, 8-4 lead. So we'll see what happens here. So Masuda ready to go to work. It is going to be the heart of the batting order coming up for the Alliance. It'll be Hataka Yamakawa, Shuta Tonosaki, and Takiya Nakamura to face the Marine right-hander. As the right-hander, Masuda gets onto the bump. Here comes the first offering to Yamakawa, who kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is quickly 0-1. Yamakawa tonight is 1 for 3. He hit his 28th homer of the year. He's also struck out looking, and he has popped to the catcher. So no balls and 1 strike. He waggles the bat and waiting on the offering here from the right-hander Masuda. Masuda holds at the belt, and now he kicks, and he delivers. It's a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is now 0-2. It looked like Yamakawa wanted to go yard on that one. He swung right through the heater. So Yamakawa does not get cheated on his swings. Here comes the 0-2 offering now from the right-hander, Masuda, who holds at the belt. And he kicks, and he fires. And it is a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is now 1-2. There's going to be some changes in the standings. As we say, everything is going to tighten up a little bit more. Entering tonight, Fukuoka and the Seibu Lions were tied at the top spot, with the Golden Eagles 2.5 behind and Chiba 3.5 behind. Well, that is all going to tighten up. And of course, Oryx getting the win tonight. They're going to move to 3.5 behind. So 3.5 games separating 5 teams in the Pacific League as a fastball misses upstairs, and the count is now 2-2. Of course, over in the Central League, first place is a mile away from everybody as the Swallows are top of the heap. But the Yokohama Dana Bay Stars at 11.5 back there's only a 5-game difference between them and the last place team. There's a fastball swung on and missed. Yamakawa has gone on strikes for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away. It's going to bring up the second baseman, Shuta Tonosaki. They need base runners, do the Lions. And they need some instant runs. So does our friend Brian Solera, who's listening in. He needs some instant runs as well. Only one final that is in, and that was that one hitter that was thrown by Mukanaki. Here comes the first pitch. It's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed by Tonosaki, and the count is 0-1. For Shuta Tonosaki tonight, he is 1 for 3. He's doubled and scored a run. He's also popped to third and grounded to third. Right-hander Masuda holds at the belt. And now he kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. It'll be the designated hitter Takiya Nakamura who awaits his turn on deck. So Dietrich Enns, whose night is over. I'm sure he would like to have a do-over. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed. It's dropped by the catcher. They throw down to first, and that's going to retire Tonosaki on a strikeout, 2-3 for the second out. That is going to leave it up to the designated hitter, Takiya Nakamura. For Nakamura tonight, he is 1 for 3. He doubled home a run his last time up. He's also flown to center and grounded to third. So the Marines are looking to take the first 2 games of this series. The victory here tonight over the Lions. So the Lions, they're still clinging to that first place in the Pacific League. In some ways, I would have said a little bit surprising. They played good baseball this year, but before the season would have started, I don't know if I would have had the Lions at the All-Star break or coming up to the All-Star break in first place. So Nakamura has raised his average to 176, and he swings at the first pitch. He grounds it over to third. It is fielded by Shahani. He throws to first. That is going to retire Nakamura on a ground out 5-3, and that is going to end the ball game as the Lions go here in order in the 9th inning. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. Your final score is the Chiba Lotte Marines 8, the Saitama Seibu Lions 4. Stick around, everybody. We'll wrap this baby up here in just a couple moments. We'll come back and give you the out-of-town score. We appreciate y'all guys for being here. We'll be right back in just a moment after this from our friend Dave. Hang tight.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out the game and Last Raps Baseball. This is Dave, Zero Thought Sports Cards. If you like pack openings, baseball, all that good stuff, check us out. Drop a comment on our channel this month to win a mystery pack of cards. All you gotta do is say Last Rap sent you to be entered. And we'll drop a video later on this month announcing the winner. Enjoy the game.
Welcome back, everybody. We'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, and we'll first begin with the other games in the Pacific League. We have a final from Osaka. It is a 2-0 victory for the Oryx Buffaloes. 2-5-0 for the Buffaloes. 0-1-0 for the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. Attendance on that one was 16,050 from the Kyocera Dome in Osaka. The big news in that one was the rookie right-hander Ren Mukonaki, who went 8 2/3 innings, allowing only one hit, walking 3, and striking out 11. He was a third of an inning away from having a no-hitter. That was broken up. Was the home runs were all come off a 2-run homer by Masataka Yoshida. Yoshida had hit a 2-run homer back in the third inning, and that was enough for the Buffaloes to cruise them or pace them to victory. The other game that is going on in the Pacific League, it is 17-1 right now, as the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles are laying it to the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. That game is in the bottom of the 7th inning. Big night tonight for Hideto Asamura, as he's driven in 5 runs, home runs on the evening for Ryosuke Tatsumi. Hideto Asamura has had 2. Simatani has 1. And then he hit a second one as well, so he's got 2 in the books. Alfredo Despaigne has a homer for the Hawks. And they are getting beat down in Fukuoka. Scores in the Central League. In the top of the 8th inning, the Yomiuri Giants are trailing the Yakult Swallows 3. That score is 7-2. That game is in the top of the 8th inning. 7-8-0 for the Swallows, 2-7-1 for the Giants. The Yokohama Dana Bay Stars have a 5-2 lead over the Chinichi Dragons. That game's in the top of the 9th. 5-8-0 for the Bay Stars, 2-9-0 for the Dragons. And in the bottom of the 8th inning, the Hiroshima Carp, who scored 4 in the bottom of the 7th, have taken the lead over the Hanshin Tigers at 5-3. It's 5-11-0 for the Carp and 3-7-2 for the Tigers. And that is where we stand in that one. And so once again, your final here was a 8-4 ball game. The recap for us is it all got going in the bottom of the first inning when the Chiba Lotte Marines got on the board. It was an error by the shortstop that started the ball game, and then it was a double by Akito Takabe that drove in Ogino, and that quickly got the Marines on the board 1-0. The top of the second, the Lions got one back on the 28th homer of the year by Hotaka Yamakawa. Not even the score up at 1. In the top of the third inning, the Lions went ahead. A leadoff walk to Koga. He was sacrificed to second. And an RBI single by Suzuki made the score 2-1. But the Marines came right back in the bottom of the third. A leadoff single by Ogino. He was sacked over to second by Takabe, but then the error by the first baseman Yamakawa and some defensive meltdowns brought Ogino all the way home, and he scored to even the game at 2-2. Well, it was 2-2 until we went to the top of the 5th inning, and then a one-out home run by Yuta Koga put the Lions back out in front 3-2. And then the comeback happened again. In the bottom of the 5th inning, it was a leadoff single by Matsukawa, then a single to Ogino. Takabe sacrificed those 2 runners over, and then Shogo Nakamura hit a 2-run double. And that now made the score 4-3. And then Seiya Inoue had a single that knocked in Nakamura, and that made the score 5-3. So that's where it was at the end of 5 innings. In the 6th inning, the Marines scored again, a leadoff walk to Chitani. He was sacked over to second, then a single by Matsukawa, and a sacrifice fly by Ogino now made the score 6-3. Well, in the top of the 7th inning, the Lions got one back, a leadoff double by Tonosaki, and he was doubled home by Nakamura, and that made the score 6-4. And then the scoring continued in the bottom of the 7th inning, a leadoff walk to Seiya Inoue. And with one out, Koki Yamaguchi hit his 8th home run of the year, and that increased the score to 8-4. That was where the final score ended, with the Marines winning 8-4. The win goes to Ishikawa. That's his 6th win of the year. Dietrich Enns takes the loss. He drops to 6-5. Again, your final score, 8-4. Just as a couple of reminders, everybody, we will be back on again here in a little bit. We may do the game tomorrow night, so there'll be a late night edition. Be sure to check the schedule. Make sure you sub to the channel and hit the notifications. And that'll let you know if we're going live. We do intend Thursday to call a couple of big league games, but if we do the late night one tomorrow, then we'll only call one of the big league games on Thursday. On the weekend, we're not going to be doing the Friday night or our Saturday, the Japan Saturday game, which is our Friday night in North America. We're going to skip that one. What we may be on Saturday night if we can get back from the Mariners and the Astros in time on Saturday. And so once again, your final score is 8-4. We appreciate everybody for being here and checking out the channel. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great night, everybody, and we appreciate y'all for jumping in the chat tonight. That makes it all a lot more easier and a lot more fun when we got people here with us. Have a great night, everybody.